Baker MVP talk was great and everything, considering everybody they had down, and it was heroic, and they were winning all these close games. I don't think he's played his best football yet.
I've been loving Drake Maye lately. He's been really fun to watch. Some of the exotic blitzes that Todd does can be really hard to diagnose for a younger quarterback, and Drake May's been pretty good against the blitz.
My read on this game is that Baltimore wins it, and that Baltimore looks impressive. Vegas does not respect my small prince, and this is beginning to be a problem. It's week 10. It's week 10 in the NFL, and this is the preview show. I've got Dr. Fax, Cowboy Reed, also known as Cowbs. Got Nolan, got Beau, and Tanner's behind the machines. We are ready to talk about week 10 slate. Dudes, how do we feel like, scale of 1 to 10, what's the slate looking like for you?
Medium torque.
Medium.
Better than last.
Medium to high torque.
Was it better? Is it better than last week's though?
Well, we had the real top heavy. I don't think anybody knew that the Cincy game was going to be as entertaining.
There's no way.
Obviously not, because you guys gave that game to me to watch.
We did. Yeah, we did. Well, I kind of with you. I kind of give you the teams you played for.
No, I get it.
And it's really worked out for you this year.
Yeah,
because they're fun. But like, I don't think there's no Kansas City Buffalo matchup this week, but I think it's pretty good. We got a big 3 today: Pats, Bucks, Baltimore, Minnesota, and Rams, 49ers. Those are the big 3 games. I might have thrown Cardinals and Seahawks in there. I think it's going to be a banger. We can talk about that in a little bit, but like, I like the international games. I like waking up in the morning and having football on.
It's a full fucking day of football, man. Like 9:30 a.m. in Berlin, Germany, and just popping off. Actually, I think the Falcons-Colts game is going to be kind of nasty.
I think so too, dude. And we're looking for good standalone games. Here's a wild stat. Look back at the last 10, 12 standalone games. Mondays, Thursdays, Sunday mornings, all the games have sucked. We're on the hunt for one standalone game to be a lot of fun, maybe a one-score game. And I think we might get it this week. We've got 2 standalone games. Reed, take it away.
So we are starting with the international game. This is the first game in Berlin. The Falcons against the Colts. The Colts are minus 6.5 point favorites. 48.5 is the total.
On the injury front, news just broke that DeForest Buckner is dealing with a neck injury. He will not travel with the team to Berlin. Other guys that the Colts were missing on Wednesday were Michael Pittman, Kenny Moore, and Samson Ebukam. It's also important to note Sauce Gardner cleared concussion protocol. He's a full participant in practice. And then on the Falcons side, they were without both starting guards, Chris Lindstrom and Matthew Bergeron on Wednesday, as well as the end Leonard Floyd.
Now, Bergeron was just ruled out. I saw that just a minute ago. And yeah, I guess the big deal is Buckner's neck, which popped up really today. The other one is Chris Lindstrom, who I don't know if he didn't look himself this weekend, but that's also a really good interior front. It turns out he was playing with a foot. And he's like questionable. So that would be a big blow if they can't get him back this week, or if he's not up this week. But I gave out the over on the gambling show.
Yep.
I can see an over.
For this game?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You see an under?
I see an under, dude. Berlin, playing in Berlin at 9:30. I mean,
no, I know.
I don't know. Plus, like, these are two, like the Falcons, I don't really know what the fuck kind of team the Falcons are. Like, they have a really nice run game. And I could see, you remember when they blew out the Bills a couple weeks ago? It's because they're like,
because Bobby Babich was calling plays respectfully.
Well, like, it's kind of a similar defense. You know what I mean? Like that 4-down look. And I could see them like ripping some runs with Bijan Robinson. I just feel like it's going to be a run fest is kind of what I'm getting at, which leads me to think under, unless it's huge runs.
That's what
I'm thinking. Huge runs.
That's what I'm thinking too. I'm thinking that for the same reason Beau's saying that these 2 running backs, I feel like they can have a field day, and who knows how either team comes out, if either team comes out lethargic. But I know Bijan Robinson, he's still going to be running hard, and JT is going to be running hard. So I think this might be a nice 3-touchdown running back game.
Well, look, I think the run game certainly factors in. I look at these two sides as neither being elite, rushing the passer, and the Colts have a very good front. That Falcons front kind of got after Drake May in some spots last week. They brought some blitz and that sort of thing, but I do feel like Daniel Jones is going to get right this week. It is such an aberration to turn the ball over 6 times. I can't understate how overreactive people might be on something like that. Now, sometimes when teams get in a funk, they stay in a funk. I don't know if this is going to be a sustained funk thing. And I think the Sauce Gardner trade definitely breathes some life into a locker room after a loss like that, where it's like help is on the way. And honestly, that's not even what lost them the game. It wasn't the corner room. It was the offensive execution. And so I think the interesting thing to note about Sauce, you talked about clearing concussion protocol. It has got to be some wild shit to wake up with a concussion one day and they're like, hey, you are getting traded.
Also, you're going to Berlin.
You're going to get traded. You're going to have to fly to Indy and you're in a dark room or whatever dudes do when they're in concussion protocol. Did they ever put you guys in the dark room? Like, where they say, like, you got to avoid light and that sort of thing?
Tell you what, in the dark room with Ice Spice might not be too bad.
Oh, man. but listen, horny alert. And
who would have thought the cure to concussions is just 6 wins?
6 wins, bro. Well, here's the deal. He's a Colt. I think it makes a lot of sense. I touched on this with Beau on Tuesday with Mina. Mina came on the show. It was great. But, I don't think Lou Anarumo has ever had – I know he hasn't had – a corner like this, let alone 2 of them. I'm not putting Ward on Sauce's level, but Ward ain't far behind. Like, these are 2 very good corners. You got a great slot corner, veteran player in Kenny Moore. You bring in Bynum. They have really invested. And I love Cross as well. Dude, his ascension. So this might now be the second best secondary in the league. I put him behind, obviously, God's team.
I can't wait.
But not far behind.
I can't wait to see the new blitzes and the new stuff that they do, because having lockdown corners just opens up a lot of stuff up for the front. You maybe get an extra second to try to get that sack or that pressure, and it's just going to be – that defense is already like, yeah, they have holes and they're shaky, but – this is just something that I'm excited to see, and hopefully, like, Sauce just jumps on track, like, quick with them and that defense and learning everything, because I know the front. I know Zaire Franklin is probably is ecstatic because those linebackers and just that front 8 overall. This is probably going to up the production from them.
Dude, one guy in particular is going to be Latu. Latu is a guy who gets a lot of pressures. He's a guy who's going to finish his rushes with wins, but a lot of it's going to be dependent on what kind of coverage you give him. He's not – how a lot of guys are like boom-bust rushers. He's a high-average rusher. Like, he's going to get on base every play, but is it going to be a sack or not? That's going to be dependent upon the coverage behind him. And I said this Tuesday, and y'all know this. You can manufacture rush, but you can't manufacture coverage. So – they are doing the smart thing here. I saw they had worked out Shaq Barrett a couple weeks ago. I'm pretty sure they looked at the price on Trey Hendrickson and said, or any of these Russians said, hey, I'd rather just put out the fire at corner. Right now, if not for Sauce Gardner, they're coming in this game with Blackman playing corner for them against, possibly Drake London. And Blackman doesn't have a lot of size. Drake London, who last week, when are we going to start talking about Drake London like the receiver he is? Because all he's done his whole career is catch fucking balls from a multitude of imperfect quarterbacks. And his red zone performance last week, I would put up with any red zone performance I've seen this year
3
from
touchdowns.
a receiver. And the way he scored those touchdowns, he's just dunking on people.
Mm-hmm. He made that look, about as easy as you could make something like that look.
You just put it in his general area. And if I'm Zach Robinson, and I thank the good Lord that I am not Zach Robinson or anybody on that coaching staff right now, because those seats are heating up, give the ball to your best player on offense. Now, I see them getting cute with the pony personnel and splitting him out and that sort of thing, and last week it demanded that maybe we're going to throw the ball to our best player a little bit more than run him. but run the fucking ball, play into your strengths. And I think the Sauce Drake London matchup is going to be a lot of fun to watch, man.
It is interesting for Sauce. Second time this year that he gets to go overseas because he did it in the Broncos, and now he might be be dishing out some info, maybe ways to do things when you make that trip to the other guys on the Colts. And
Mr. Worldwide,
exactly, Mr. Worldwide. And for Quinnen Williams, he gets back-to-back bye weeks.
Oh wow, dude!
Week 9 with the Jets, and now Week 10 with the Cowboys. He's going to be pretty rested the second half of the season.
Fresh legs,
best
man.
seat. Quinnen Williams, double bye weeks, and you're out in New York. Let me talk about the Colts for a second because facts. I thought it was interesting. You said that Romo can get to some more exotic blitzes and stuff like that with Sauce. I agree with you, but I think they're going to have to evolve to that eventually. Because, if you think about it, you're Sauce Gardner, you're premier DB. You get traded to a new team. You're coming off an injury. Oh, yeah. By the way, you're getting your feet wet with a new defensive scheme for 2 days before you're going over to Berlin. I just anticipate them keeping it somewhat vanilla a little bit with him, kind of let him get acclimated before dialing up all the exotic shit, which I think will come later in the season. Well, that's kind of what I'm expecting.
I might tend to agree with you. I look at this. If you look at Lou Anarumo's coverage splits, they do a little bit of everything, and they've probably played less man since. I know they have since Ward's been out. They played more cover 6. They'll play 2, they'll play 3. He really does. He really does ask his guys to know a multitude of coverages. He's versatile in the things he calls. I think it's all going to be dependent upon how quick Sauce Gardner can learn. But I would agree with you this week.
I could see him playing a little more vanilla,
Penix,
cover 3.
How long is that flight?
In the box.
play. It's what 6 hours, something like that, 6.5. But the point is, if you man these guys up, if you have a guy to man up a Drake London, and that's going to be a battle no matter what. I put those players on the same level, but I would man Penix up. He struggles a little bit to put the ball in tight windows because his accuracy is a little bit suspect. And honestly, I don't think it's too early to be talking about, is he the guy there? Mm-hmm. And so what happens down the stretch this year, because you have to realize, if the head coach gets let go, if the regime changes, he's now a quarterback that was drafted by the last group. And so he is playing. It's funny because at the end of last year, he was playing as an investment in his sure-handed future. We were going to see a bunch of them, and wow, you get these bonus reps at the end of the year. How quickly it became now you're playing for your future as the quarterback of this team. And I don't want to make it sound like it's over for the kid. We got to be patient with young quarterbacks, but I'm not impressed with what I see on a week-to-week basis. So this is a big spot for them. I don't want to say it's win or go home for Atlanta, but they're getting close to a point where you start to wonder how much longer this group has.
This would be a big win for Atlanta if they could pull this off.
Huge.
Obviously everyone's talking about the Colts and this trade and how they kind of maybe won the trade deadline and adding the missing piece for their Super Bowl run for the Atlanta to come in and try to win this game. It'll be great. And Pitts has been coming along a little bit, so I'll be interested if he can maybe have a big game and help Michael Penix out a little.
Right now the Falcons are 6. They are 13th in the NFC, so a win would vault them up to I guess the Vikings.
Well, it's early enough. They're a 3-5 football team. 2 weeks from now you could be 500, which is a crazy thing about this Falcons team. The problem is they got a team that's also 3-5 in the Arizona Cardinals, who to me looks a lot more trustworthy right now. And the Vikings just won a big game, and the Panthers just won a big game, and the Bears are, rounding into form. So a lot of these NFC teams, the NFC just got a lot deeper this year.
Don't forget about those Thurs.
Oh, yeah, I just said it. Yeah, the Panthers just had a big win last week.
My question for you, Chris, is when I watch the Falcons, sometimes I'm like, what the fuck are you guys? Especially, what are you this week? I feel like they don't
inconsistent.
Have good identity. They want to be a running team, but they're so inconsistent. Do you feel like they have an identity that they can sustain throughout the season?
Their identity was, and we worked on this when we went down to talk to Atlanta this offseason, and I asked the guys, I'm like, do you ever see yourselves as little Detroit? Where they had this dynamic run attack with 2 backs, and they're going to run outside zone to death and that sort of thing. But I do think the pistol is slowing down. I think the pistol kind of stalls things out for them. I think at some point you got to get snaps under center and gun, or get some more normal looks. I understand the pistol gives you certain angles in the run game that you don't otherwise have, but to me, defensively, it's a bring pressure group. Offensively, it's an attack the edges group. I don't know what the identity is week to week, though, because sometimes they abandon it.
I agree. And it's interesting what you say about like pistol giving you different angles. That's a classic thing. It's like you can get those same angles out of quarterback under. You know what I mean?
Maybe not the exact same, but no, what were you going to say?
Well, I was just going to add, I thought it was a good point about outside zone, Chris. It feels to me like this offense really is this like outside zone house of cards, where if that's not clicking for them, everything they do, especially the play action passing game out of the pistol, kind of branches off of that. It's kind of like a great example of this is, if you guys remember, I think it was the 2018 Super Bowl when the Rams played the Pats.
Yeah, they shut down.
Played those like. They just took outside zone off the menu. They played like those 6-man fronts, and that offense with the Rams, it felt like they scored 1 million points that year, just completely fell apart. I think they scored like 3 points or something like that. So
I love outside zone against 4-down looks, though. No, like I think they're gonna fucking rip at least one big one in there. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Especially without DeForest Buckner for the Colts.
With Buckner down. I think that's exactly it. I think it gets interesting.
So we'll see. But anyways, we spent a long time in this Berlin game. We will be up in the chow line. I will be in the chow line early, eating some of that German food, baby. I love these games, dude. I love waking up in the morning and my kids being like, who plays this morning? And getting a chance to actually watch a damn game with them before going to the man cave and the 1 p.m. slate takes over. But be careful betting these standalone games, dude. That's where they get you. That's why the NFL wants more standalone games. It's not just to expand the game globally, but the more standalone games, the more they win. And if you're chasing Sunday morning, that can make for a bad Sunday.
And going from one standalone game to the other, this is the Sunday night game. We're going early to late. The Steelers at the Chargers. Chargers 3-point favorites. 45 is the total.
I don't feel great about any of these totals that I gave out this week. And Nolan, you can hit us with the injuries in a second, but I gave an under out here. Under 45.
On the injury front, as of Wednesday, Highsmith, Isaac Sumalo, Darnell Washington had the big game last week, and Scotty Miller were out of practice for the Steelers. And then on the Chargers side, they were just missing corner Tarheeb still on Wednesday.
Well, there's a couple big injuries there because we've talked about this a lot as of late, like what they've done with tackle over and that sort of thing. And Sam Malu, if he's not in the game, then all of a sudden your big tight end, one of your 2 big tight ends, Spencer Anderson, has to kick into guard, which throws the balance off that way. And if Washington's not in this game, I got a lot of concerns about this offense. And I honestly, it's funny to say like a 6'8" tight end who weighs 300 pounds could swing the fortunes of an offense this much, but they really don't have a lot of options in the pass game, and I'm depending on him being more of one if I'm Aaron Rodgers. And additionally, here we go again with the outside zone. That's been a good way for them to get the run game going, has been running behind 600 pounds of beef over there with Washington and Anderson. Sorry, Nate. If Washington's not up, if Sayamalu's not up, that's bad deal. And on the other side, I'm sure you're thinking, well, what did we just see? We saw the Steelers forcing 6 turnovers. Ooh. And ends on early downs, screaming up the field, outside backers. Joe Alt left on an easy go. The Chargers are fucked, but I just feel like it's one of these spots where the Chargers find a way to win this game.
And then last week, didn't we see Ramsey play a little? He
played safety. Yeah.
You think they'll keep him there for this game?
I don't know why not. Like I refuse to think that they're just doing a game plan thing.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's going to be playing safety for a little bit here.
No. I think it's one of those things where you have a game like that defensively for the Steelers. Any change you make, you're like, let's fucking stick with that.
They looked a lot better.
I'm kind of riding with the Steelers on this one, Chris, because, dude, I love the Chargers, and I kind of have a man crush on Justin Herbert the way you do with Josh Allen because he's a stud.
Yeah.
But They're so banged up on their offensive line, and like they tried to patch it up at the trade deadline a little bit, but like let's be honest, that dude was available from New Orleans because he's, you know what I mean, like they can afford to get rid of him. He's not that good, I guess, is what I'm getting at. And so I'm envisioning the Steelers. I've been waiting for their defense to break out. They did it last week. I want them to continue that. So I think the Steelers defense is going to ball. I think Highsmith is going to have a sack or two, a fucking sack force fumble for my guy TJ Watt. Like I think the Steelers edge like is really going to be a difference in this game.
Something to keep a look at is Aaron Rodgers didn't seem too happy with DK Metcalf a few plays, and I wonder if they don't get on the same page when that blow up is going to happen, because from the past, I know Aaron Rodgers is a guy that seems like he's a stickler for details and things like that, and if you're not going to be accepted of criticism from someone like that, and you're someone like DK Metcalf, I can see this being a situation where it starts getting real ugly, maybe.
Now, listen, here's the deal. I mean, like, they played Ramsey in the slot a lot before this happened. Like, so who are you going to have in the slot? You know, the matchup with McConkey is big. Gadsden, I'm still learning his name, the Syracuse tight end, the rookie who's a stud. Mm-hmm. He factors into this game for sure, right? Like, so I think you're going to see Kyle Duggar being stressed in coverage in different ways that you did. I'm really interested to see how Kyle Duggar plays this week. You know, it'll be a second week in the system. Last week they put Ramsey on the tight end. They put him on the big tight end, and so we'll see what matchup they prefer this week. But I don't know, man. It just feels like to me, Vegas knows Alt's down. Vegas has seen the depths of the Chargers' performances. They last week sounded like they just eked out that game, right? Like, and Herbert threw a pick six, and you know, on the other end of things, the Steelers in a national window beat the brakes off the best team in the league. So why are the Chargers laying 3 at home? It's an interesting question.
No, it is. And with the Steelers, their quick throw, I mean, like the Rodgers, they're 5-0 when he releases the ball 2.6 seconds or quicker, 0-3 when he holds it longer.
Yeah.
Is
check down demon.
Is that maybe that's why that the Chargers are, you know, like, hey, this thing's going to blow up in the Steelers' face. Their offensive idea, like if they're not going to be able to run the ball, or if he's not be able to connect those passes as quick, if that's what Vegas is banking on, that it's going to come back down to earth.
I don't think Vegas respects the Steelers after last week, and I don't blame them. I mean, they turned the ball over. They got, you know, Indy to turn it over 6 times. That is such a rare thing, and you want to give those guys credit because they created a bunch of them. But like, I mean, that's not going to happen again. You'd like to think. And another thing is this: like, you want to slow these edges down, and it's not something that I think of when I think about, you know, the Chargers. But you're gonna have to throw some screens. You're gonna have to. I mean, their screen game's not really a big part of what they do. That's got to be a big part of it Sunday.
And actually, I'll piggybacking off of what Reed said, too, with the Rodgers quick time to throw. Ever since the Chargers got Khalil Mack back, they've been able to generate quick pressure at a really high rate, about 37%. That's third in the league since Mack's return. And their average time to pressure of 2.35 seconds ranks 6th in the league. So it really is going to be like this race against the clock almost for Rodgers trying to get the ball out of his hand versus these rushers with Khalil Mack, Owe, and Tui Pelotu trying to get there before he can release the football.
Return of the Mac.
So another area that I'd be interested to see what comes out here, but like red zone's going to be big in this game. Like the Minter bend but don't break deal. If you're going to pepper him with quick game, if you're going to play him 3 plays at a time, then it's going to be a lot of Chris Boswell. It's got to be. And in a game like this, I think what happens inside the 20s, you know, that's going to be everything.
So we talked about Justin Herbert getting pressured. We talked about this offensive line, lost both tackles. 165 pressures for Justin Herbert this season, 30 more than any other quarterback. Is Trevor Penning immediately solving, you know, one side of the line?
Penning, can I take this one? Absolutely.
No. I don't.
He's one of those guys when you're rushing against him, he's either going to stone your ass or you're going to beat him clean. You know what I mean? And that's a tough way to live as an offensive lineman.
I feel like he's a bit of a throwback, right? Like he's a mauler type guy that he got drafted because of his nasty streak, smaller school, right? And, not like a pure pass protector. Now, he does somehow look better in his number and in that uniform. That was just a hideous look on him in those black pants, wearing that, 70 in New Orleans? Not to mention...
Everyone looks better in L.A., Chris. Come on.
I was about to say, like, this is a good-looking picture.
Yeah.
God.
Now,
look at Justin Herbert, dude.
I know, like, the hair... I see what Madison Pierce.
Are y'all okay?
Would.
Are y'all
some
okay
oysters
in here?
before
I'm not included in this conversation.
Oh my goodness!
I don't see it.
I mean, the one thing about him, like if we're talking actual football, a guy like that, he get like the way he pass sets. If you do a lot of play action, it really helps you out because you'll get a play action pass and it'd be like, this feels like a run block the entire time. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it kind of he'll actually work out pretty well in that scheme, maybe. But I don't think, he's not Joe Alt, basically.
No, he ain't Joe Alt.
Herbert got that spray tan in that picture. Yeah. He definitely getting spray tan.
You don't think he's getting spray tan? He lives in Southern California.
Yeah, that California sunshine.
He's
spray tan.
I don't even want to say it. He's sun-kissed, bro.
Yeah.
You okay?
Would.
It's time for the big three. The big three.
We're going to Tampa Bay for the Patriots at the Buccaneers. Buccaneers are 2.5-point favorites. Total sitting at 48.
Injury report as of Thursday. This is hot off the press. Bucks DMPs, Bucky Irving, Chris Godwin, and Hassan Reddick remain out of practice. Right tackle Luke Gedeke was upgraded from, he was DMP yesterday. He practiced limited today. And then on the Pats side, your DMPs were Kayshon Boutte, Christian Ellis, and Ramondre Stevenson. Garrett Bradbury, who missed practice yesterday, was practicing limited on Wednesday.
So a couple things real quick. When it comes to Gedeke getting back, I think it's huge. I think Charlie Heck did an admirable job, but he's obviously got some limitations athletically. And, there's something to be said for, I know a lot of people make a big deal about your blind side tackle and that sort of thing, but your ball hand tackle, your vision tackle, that can really disrupt a quarterback's process back there. And I don't think, and I've been on this all year long, I don't think Baker Mayfield's played his best ball consistently this year. And I still think he's played well. But, we obviously had the Detroit game where it made me think like, man, he might be dinged, like the way he was missing some balls. Some of it's just like the continuation of like pressure every week. It's just like the attrition of it and the bad habits that you form. And if we can just piece this line back together slowly but surely, I think they'll be in a lot better place. Now, having said that, they're getting real used to not having a full deck outside. Might be the case again this week. And I think what's really concerning is they are off a bye and these guys are missing practice. So, like if you're missing practice off a bye, I don't know if that's a great sign for you Sunday. Guys might need a couple more days and maybe that's it. But yeah, the Gedeke thing's big.
For me, I think the biggest thing I'm most interested for this game, I've been loving Drake Maye lately. He's been really fun to watch. I played in Todd Bowles' scheme down here in Tampa, and some of the exotic blitzes that Todd does can be really hard to diagnose for a younger quarterback. And Drake May's been pretty good against the blitz this year. So if he can continue to do that and like just dish up some of these fucking deep balls that he's done, and it sounds like Boutte is questionable for the game, he'll be big. But basically, like if Drake Maye can diagnose these blitzes pre-snap and get the ball in the right places, it could be dangerous.
Well, it really is. It's a Josh McDaniel game where it's like, are you going to be giving this guy easy, access throws against the blitz because you're going to get a lot of it? Or are you going to stay out of condensed formations? Because if you get in condensed formations, they are going to, the slot blitzes, the edge blitzes. This is the best blitzing team in the league. And they're facing a young quarterback that's been money against the blitz. Dug in a little bit deeper. If you get these guys in third and long, in actuality, they're a lot more human against the blitz. And obviously you're accounting for everybody else in the league. When I say that, they're even relatively a lot worse than they are on all of the downs, like third and longer. If you can get them in third and longer, I think, you will have some success against this group. The Pats have given up a lot of pressure the last couple of weeks, and particularly at a high rate on first down. And that's one thing I wanted to drill down was okay, Drake May's great against the blitz. New England's offense has been really good against the blitz, but they haven't had answers all the time on first down. They've given up a lot of pressures. So those are outliers.
Over the last 3 weeks.
Couple sacks, 15, 16 sacks, 16 sacks over the last couple weeks. Third and long and early downs. The one way you can help yourself on third down is getting them behind the sticks on first down. And I think they will decide to bring pressure early. I think another reason that they'll bring pressure early is Travion Henderson, who has to play in this game, right? Because Ramondre Stevenson is out, is not a pass protector. You could see that last week. He doesn't have – I could look at him and be like, yeah, he just doesn't have the body type of a guy that really is a great pass protector. And so Todd Bowles sees that. They are going to come after this dude. I'm not sure if it's going to be at a higher rate than normal or any of that stuff, but I would watch for early down pressure. And the game within the game is, can you get him behind the sticks? And they did that in the Detroit game. Tampa just couldn't hit the open guys offensively or beat man coverage, but they did a really good job on early downs of getting Detroit behind the sticks. I think they can have some success there. And if Bradbury's out, that's a big deal. Get a face full of Vita Vea, right, Beau?
Seriously. No, that's a very big deal. You want to be healthy facing that big house. Let me talk for a second about the Bucs offense, which I'm a little bit concerned about against the Patriots defense. Patriots rush defense has been really good.
Amazing.
It's been incredible. And the Bucs this year, they have not run the ball as well. I think a lot of that can be attributed to injuries on their offensive line, shuffling guys around. Tristan Wirfs was out. Gedeke, like we talked about, has been injured. They've also had injuries at back. I don't think Bucky Irving will be back this week. So that's kind of all contributed to their poor rush offense. I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball for shit this week. So I guess we've seen a little bit of a, I don't want to say decline, but it doesn't feel like Baker has been the same hero that he was earlier in the year. And I think he just doesn't have the same weapons. So I'm interested to see how the Bucs try to, dish the ball out. I can see them going to a lot of the screen game. Those, what we're talking about, Chris, the run plays that are really, you dish the ball outside quickly to get the ball. It's an outside run, perimeter run, shit like that. But when you have your offense is built on plays like that, it's really hard to get into a rhythm. So I kind of think this will be a low-scoring game, man. I don't see the Bucs doing a ton offensively unless they can get some deep shots to their boy, Big Boo.
Big Boo.
I think he'll be a big playmaker. Also, Tez Johnson's really coming along.
Yeah, I'd love to see. I would love to see a couple things. I'd love to see them attack, the Pats' backs in pass coverage. Mm-hmm. And I also think this could be a Cade Otton game, dude. Gonzalez, since he's been factored into the equation, these guys are fucking fantastic. I think they're top 5 in EPA per play defensively. Their pressure rate's up there, top 5 or 6. I think they're over 40%, right, Noel? Over 40%. So that to me is again, my argument about adding a corner. Look what adding Christian Gonzalez to this front has done for the front. I think the quick game's got to be a big factor. You mentioned the popping out, the perimeter screens, that sort of thing. But I also think I'm interested to see what this group looks like with a right tackle that's functional out there. Yeah. He's been under duress. And you said it earlier this season. I don't want to say it's revisionist history to say, but the Baker MVP talk was great and everything considering everybody they had down, and it was heroic, and they were winning all these close games. I don't think he's played his best football yet. And I also don't blame him because he's been under duress, but it's time now to take the next step as a team, whoever's out there. And I know they might not get Bucky Irving back, but that's why you have Rashad White, and so a heavy dose of him. But we'll see, man. I think this is going to be a really good football game. I'm actually with you, Beau, where I'm man, that total seems kind of high, up there, 49. Another thing in this game is it's going to be, 80 degrees there, high 70s with 85% or 75% humidity or whatever it is. I'm not a fucking meteorologist, but that's a little different than, balmy New England. And a lot of times when a team goes down there late in the season, that heat kind of creeps up on you a little bit. So we'll see if that factors in.
Is this a game where the winner could be the MVP with Baker and Drake May?
I think Drake May's closer to being the MVP than Baker, just because of what. Now, ironically, I just got done saying, "Hey, Baker was in the race because everybody's hurt," but by the end of the season, I figure they're going to have a full deck, and I also think Josh Allen's going to overtake Drake May here. So I think he did today. Did he?
How?
In the odds?
Did he?
Oh, I don't know. Check it out. I thought I saw something about that.
Vegas don't know what they're doing right now.
They don't know what they're doing.
Vegas is in shambles.
Let's just see. Let's see what they think about the
They're in
MVP.
shambles.
And I'd have no issue with it going to Drake May if he finishes the season on the same tear. We are not an anti-Drake May podcast. We're a pro-Drake May podcast.
Yeah. But you just love Josh Allen.
No, he's just a better quarterback. Like at this
He's just
stage,
the best player in the world.
I'm like, what do you want? Like
The universe.
is like a personal thing that like this guy. You know?
Well, no, why? I heard something new about Josh Allen that I didn't know that made me love him even more. He's a big fan of Settlers of Catan.
He is, dude.
I didn't know that.
I'm surprised you.
We got to play a game with him, dude.
I don't know how to play.
What is?
You can play a game with him.
I would trade some sheep for some wheat with that guy.
Did we get the
any day of week.
NFL MVP odds?
So Josh Allen is the current favorite per BetMGM at plus 160. Entering week 10, odds makers view the MVP race as a 4-horse race. It's Josh Allen, it's Mahomes, it's May, and it's Matthew Stafford.
That's what it should be.
What is your boy? What is Jalen Hurts odds?
Plus 2,200.
The back half tear coming.
Well, you just said they're going to lose 5 games in a row like a day ago.
So
The Eagles.
yeah, but Jalen's gonna do great though in those in those losses.
Yeah,
Have you ever seen him play well in an Eagles loss?
Have you ever seen someone who loses 5 games, someone on a team that loses 5 games in a row become MVP?
Damn, dude, that's crazy. I just caught you on
Josh
one.
Allen might be the first after this year, right?
What do you mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't. That might be the issue. You don't.
The Jags are back this week, guys.
Just change the subject to the Jags. This football season, BetMGM wants to give you another chance at first touchdown scorers. With BetMGM's second chance promotion, you'll get your stake back in cash if your first touchdown scorer scores second instead. Bet on any pro football player to score the first touchdown of the game. If you're right, you win. If your player scores second, you get your stake back in cash. Be sure to take advantage of this offer, and if you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code GREENLIGHT, and you will get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. BetMGM, make it legendary.
Second game of our big 3. We've got the Ravens at the Vikings. J.J. McCarthy's going to be looking to duplicate his performance last week. The Vikings are getting 4 points. Total is 49.
I got a good feel on this game. Nolan, give me the injuries.
So the lead with the injury report is that the Ravens had perfect practice attendance on Wednesday. First time in a long time for them. And on the Vikings side, they got Aaron Jones and starting safety Theo Jackson back at practice today. Tight end Josh Allen remains out.
So my read on this game is that Baltimore wins it, and that Baltimore looks impressive. And this is why. There's a couple reasons. Number one, I gave them out on the show today. They're 4-point favorites. I don't think Detroit feels like they could have played worse in that game. Now, there are things that Detroit has to fix that they're going to have trouble fixing, but I also think Minnesota kind of matched up well with them this past Sunday. And I also think, like, if you're overreacting to the McCarthy thing, which I'm a fan of McCarthy, I got nothing against the kid. Like
The mic'd up situation?
What?
You said McCarthy thing. What
Just that he won another game, and they're rallying behind him. And he's a gamer, dude. Like he's a fucking.
Surprised he wasn't the NFC Offensive Player of the Week again.
Yeah, well,
I need him mic'd up. I need him mic'd up
tape
every week too.
The point I want to make is, like, he played well, but he didn't do anything spectacular. Detroit did not play well, and Minnesota put a game together. And I like Baltimore because if you look at McCarthy's passing map, I know he does not want to work the middle of the field. If I'm Baltimore, I'm going to make him work the middle of the field. If he works the middle of the field, you got Kyle Hamilton in there somewhere, whatever they're asking him to do on a play in and play out basis, which is like fucking everything. As long as it's in the box, I'm all about that. Since Gilman came in, they moved him down, and it's kind of like the opposite of what happened last year. Like last year, they moved him back. Now this year, they move him down. And the defense, we talk about Draymond Jones, they shipped him in. I can get to what I saw on tape in a second. But the main point is McCarthy's pretty predictable with where he likes to go with the football. And I would play coverages that force them to work the middle of the field. I would get in cover one robber. Okay. I would say, hey, you funnel everything inside and make him make plays inside. Like put Wiggins on Jefferson, have safety help over the top if you need safety help over the top. Addison's the deep shot guy, but the stuff he likes to Jefferson is like outbreaking shit. And we saw this on the field on Sunday. Brady talked about it. The balls that he throws over the middle of the field and on the run kind of tail a little bit. Now, Minnesota's going to be able to protect. I think they're going to be able to protect. That's where they have an advantage. Can they run the ball? I don't know. We'll see. But if you play robber, force things inside, make sure you take care of Addison on the deep stuff. And, he's going to take these little flat checkdowns. Great. Rally and tackle the fucking things and make him drive the ball 80 yards. I don't think they have it. And on the other side, the Vikings have struggled in the run game. This is like, I see guys getting caved on double teams and that sort of thing. And if you're going to hang your hat on blitzing, save for like the Detroit game where Shepard got all this pressure and it was kind of an aberration and Lamar didn't have answers for it, I think Lamar shreds the blitz. So it's run game, it's beating the blitz, it's getting heavy and making these guys stay heavy if you can, or make a decision between staying light or getting heavy and running the football on them.
Yeah, I guess my only argument against you, Chris, I personally think this game is going to be closer than a lot of others.
It's a 4-point line.
I just think the Vikings are getting a lot healthier on defense. It looks like a completely different defense with guys like Van Ginkel back. Cashman played really well. And this is against, the Detroit Lions. They obviously had a pretty bad week. Like, it's not the Lions' best football by any means. But I thought the Vikings defense was the biggest factor in that game. Like, they were getting unbelievable pressure up the middle with some of Flores's blitzes and things like that. And, like what you mentioned, it's really feast or famine when you're blitzing Lamar Jackson because, you can bring heavy pressure and he'll just miracle escape it and, have a 8-second dance in the pocket avoiding different blitzers and rip a ball downfield. Like we've seen that a million times, I feel like. I just feel like the Vikings are getting a lot healthier, and if they can, like what you said, like if JJ can actually possess the ball, go on long drives, keep the ball safe, put it in the right spots, I think the Vikings will stay in this and maybe surprise some people. Offensively, they're getting healthier as well with Darrisaw and Brian O'Neill back. I thought their run game looked a lot better with Aaron Jones. He got a little banged up last week. I think he ended up leaving that game, but looks like he's going to be healthy this week. I'm a little bit of a Vikings homer, and I want them to succeed. I just think the stars need to align for them a little bit against a Baltimore team that's really improving on defense and then getting a lot of key guys back like Lamar Jackson on offense. So I think the Ravens take it, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's a little bit of a nail biter. I think it'll be a good game.
Shit. I mean, I'm not saying they're going to blow them out. I just like them covering. I think it might be a one possession game late, but I also think there is the possibility that it's one of these things where, and if I were the Ravens, I would try to play the game this way. Jump out on these fucking guys. Yes. Because they are not built in their current form to come from behind and beat you. I am all for the development of this young quarterback. I think like he's got moxie, he's a gamer, all that stuff. He actually moves well in the pocket. Like I really liked, I was like, how many cliche, like, coach's son, Jim Rat, thinks can I throw at JJ McCarthy? But like, I love the way he moves in the pocket. I think he's got leadership, which means a lot in the NFL. And he has thrown some nice balls this year, but he's a little bit inconsistent with the placement. And I think turnovers might be an issue in this game.
Big game.
I'm just gonna say I think the Vikings win. Let me just take
take a side. The Vikings gonna win. Yeah. The Vikings gonna win. I'll take the Ravens.
That's a tough place to play, man. That's got to be the hardest indoor stadium to play.
And then look at that. If you're a Ravens hater, And if you're someone who bet the Ravens under win total at the beginning of the year, this is a huge game for you because the Ravens they currently have to go undefeated if they want to make their 11.5 over total.
Oh,
so
really?
If you bet the under,
Damn, this could be the year or the week you clear the ticket. They're not going undefeated the rest of the year.
No way. And that's what I'm saying. If you have that ticket, you're just waiting. And I wonder if you'll be biting your nails, like if the Ravens were to just
Dude, I've totally given up on my Raiders over win total. Like I was like I was stoned the other night at like 11 o'clock and I was in bed like looking at my bets, to get that one last hit of dopamine before you go to sleep. I don't know if you can relate to that.
I get mine a different way, Chris.
Yeah, I know you do.
Yeah. Oysters.
That's stuff but you only have so much dopamine. You want to save some of it up. But I'm looking at the lines and I'm like going through. I'm like, when the fuck did? No, I need to be looking at this. And when you look back at the Raiders season, like, golly, they could get there. The Bears game last week. If the ball Geno threw in overtime, I know it's an if, the guy's open, which is the most fucked up thing about it is like he was going the right place with the ball. Oh, it was so
Real
bad.
Fast, I want to ask you guys about this. JJ McCarthy, his alter ego, his name 9. He says it's a reference to his jersey number and the mentality that he attacks all these NFL games after missing 23 of his first 25 games. He also calls himself the Wolf. I kind of love feeding that wolf because my entire life.
That's just a young guy Instagram thing.
Just one of those TikTok.
The new thing is like there's 2 wolves in everybody.
Yeah.
He's going with the duality of man kind of thing.
Bro, the mic'd up of him saying that he should have boomed that corner that was gonna like hit him when he ran his touchdown.
Yeah.
And then Josh McCown was like, "Bro, you don't need to boom no one's ass.
Yeah, you need to relax.
You need to chill,
Bro, you've played 3 games healthy in 2 years. Don't boom. You don't got to do any booming, brother.
And then after another game earlier in the year, I think he tweeted something like kneecaps intact or something.
Yeah,
that.
after the Lions.
After the Lions
Last
win.
week he said kneecaps intact.
So it's like
That's why I like Drake.
I understand
he's not a wolf.
cocky.
He doesn't talk about himself like that. Drake May's just out here balling.
O'Connell joked that he has learned to get the hell out of the way for my own personal safety when addressing McCarthy.
Well, my dad was like, he hit me up and we were talking about the game, and he's like, "What did you think about McCarthy's comments about the kneecaps?" And I'm like, he's such a humble kid. He probably was just saying something. He was chuckling or whatever. I was like, did you hear it or did you read the quote? Like, I'm like, surely that was taken out of context. And he's like, nope, I heard it. And then I get off the phone and I'm kind of like, then the next thing I see is the guy's got an alter ego, and like I'm like, God damn, can we, because I like JJ McCarthy now. I saw a Vikings fan earlier that was like, man, this guy better be good if I got to co-sign this shit. Like,
fact. He's kind of dripping into
that's like a
Jackson
perfect
Dart territory for me,
Yep.
No. Dart hasn't had any quotes like this. You just don't like the way Dart dresses because he's pushing up on your demo.
He's getting in your closet.
He's on your corner, bro. That's your IP.
Did you guys have any teammates who did the alter ego thing? Like, this brings to mind a lesser version of the
Brian Dawkins,
Brandon Marshall,
Weapon X,
Brandon Marshall.
There's a difference between medicated alter ego and manufactured alter ego. Facts.
I'm not saying anything. Alter egos, like William Hayes had like 4, but they were all fun. There was like Big Play Hayes, and he had different ones. Like, and then sometimes he'd call himself Q. That was when he was like not to be fucked with. So, there's certain I
had a blackout alter ego in college. Purple Mist.
Purple Mist.
Yeah,
that's what they called you.
Yes, you better look out. Purple Mist is coming out.
Where does that come from? Like, I don't understand the mist.
Like Purple Rain.
Story. We don't have enough time.
No, you brought it up. Tell me more.
It just all started one bad night. Had a little too many spotted cows and was acting a fool as one does in college. And my drunk ass someone was like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm Purple Mist.
So you gave yourself the nickname.
Yeah.
You and JJ McCarthy got a lot in common.
There's like a whole subgroup of people at JMU that knew me as Bill because I blacked out and just started telling
Blackout
people my name
Bill?
was Bill, yeah.
Blackout Bill.
I don't know if I had a nickname in college based on blacking out.
Joel, dude.
Oh, Joel.
La Flama Blanca.
Joel.
The last thing on this game we need to mention is Derrick Henry. He's inching closer to that cold weather Derrick Henry. As you know, every year, September, he's, low 4 yards per carry. Then October, it's 4.8. November, he hits 5. December, it's 5.2. January, 5.4 yards per carry. So
Just puts that snowplow on,
and he just goes.
Cold weather comes out, he puts that snowplow up front.
The Vikings are 21st in rush EPA per play on defense. It might be a Derrick Henry spot.
That's what I mean. It's just, it's got to be like, hey, we get the lead, we're aggressive, and then second, you got to deal with this big SOB for the next 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So go out early, take the kickoff, receive to start the day if
And
you
then
can.
Justin Jefferson comes out of nowhere. Not so fast, my friend, and grittying all over everybody.
Yeah, you just got to get him the ball, man. Like
Yeah,
poor Justin Jefferson, man. After a while, it's impressive, and you're like, KOC, it's really impressive what you're doing with all these different quarterbacks. But Justin Jefferson, he's like this generation's Andre Johnson. Honestly, he's got better quarterback play, probably, and better scheme around him. But like his Matt Schaub is like Kirk Cousins to Justin Jefferson, and it's been a bunch of guys otherwise. Right. So
he is getting the ball in JJ's 3 career starts. He's looked for Jefferson 22 times, 22 targets over those 3 games.
No, that's good. That's good. And Jefferson looks happier to have it. Don't get me wrong.
Didn't Flacco throw the ball to Jamar Chase?
I bet you know what I kind of bet? I bet in a year he's their Bo Nix.
Yeah.
As in, like, hey, I want more out of this guy. Like the placement's a little bit off, but he's a fucking great leader. He's got magnetism. The coach likes him.
I like that.
He moves well. He's got moxie. Bo Nix manipulates the pocket in weird fucking ways. Sometimes he just bails out the back. But like JJ loves the step up lane to the right and that sort of thing. And so, and I think deep shots are gonna, and the accuracy the guys play with on these deep shots are gonna define like the ceiling of those two offenses.
Yes.
Honestly.
Yep.
Because if you get JJ to access every area of the field, like they have Jets, they got Addison, they got Hawkinson, they got Naylor, dude. Like there's a fucking lot of weapons out there, and can't quite say the same thing for Denver, but the verticals are there. You got to hit them.
Yep.
I think eventually he's on kind of the same ascension.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it's tough for him that he hasn't
a backhanded compliment.
Very backhanded.
No,
but Bo Nix is a franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
He's just one that's got to work on, honing. When people sight in their rifle.
Yes.
It's just taking a little bit longer.
His target sheet when you go to the gun range, it's a little, like
stand behind Bo Nix.
Yeah. He's got a couple that are right, right at the bullseye.
Yeah.
There's also a couple popping out, left and right.
Dude, you know what I'm really into? And I told you this: shooting darts, throwing darts.
Yeah.
Dude, darts are awesome.
Fun.
That's a new thing for me.
We should go to that bar and shoot some darts because there are some fun games you can play. We were playing golf with darts the other day.
Kids were doing the golf thing. That golf thing's a little bit confusing, huh?
I play the real way with the numbers. You ever watch that?
Oh, I play the real way.
You ever watch
cricket, baby?
Yeah, cricket.
I play the real way.
It's electric.
Yeah.
We should play more darts.
Well, it's like 512.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, whatever you say.
You don't play the real way.
Well, I only played whatever it is like twice, and then we went home.
Any bullseyes? Did you get?
I got real close.
Real close.
A couple times, but that doesn't count.
Last game in the Big Three, we've got the Rams at the Niners, a little NFC West matchup. The 49ers are getting 4.5 points. 49.5 is the total.
Who's starting quarterback?
Mac Jones.
Oh, Mac Jones, yeah.
Mac Jones.
Who?
Well, why does my fantasy app say that he's projected to have 0.0 points? What do they know that I don't know?
That the Rams defense is like quietly one of the best in the league. No, I don't know. What you got for injuries, Noel?
Starting with the Niners, Brock Purdy obviously remains out. Always practicing limited, but still dealing with that turf toe injury. Ricky Pearsall out of practice Wednesday. On the Rams side, Sean McVay said Puka Nacua and Darius Williams are looking good for Sunday, and they were without third, fourth wide receiver Jordan Whittington on Wednesday.
Now, Macon gave out the Niners on the gambling show, and it feels like a zag. It also feels like you're taking into account the fact that, traditionally McVay's underperformed against Shanahan, and it feels like the Niners have, like, in spots perfectly encapsulated in the first meetup, like where you're like, what? They're playing with the B team. And now it feels like they're playing with, like, the backups, the B team. I don't call them the C team.
Dang.
No, but I mean, like, there's a lot of guys hurt on this team, and I say this with all due respect, but, like, how many injuries can you deal with, man? I think Shanahan's an incredible coach, man, but I look at the defense, and, yeah, I thought as the game went on last week against the Giants, the guys in the secondary really started clamping down on the RPOs, playing tough at the line of scrimmage, like playing scrappier. The script was ugly for them. Like, Giants came up, scripted them up. But the pass rush never really factors into the equation at this point. Like, they brought in, my guy Keon White, who I got to figure out why he doesn't look like the player that I thought he was going to be. Like, it's still very early, and he's got a fresh start. He just got off the plane, and he's rushing, with their group on third down. And then you've got, Cleveland Farrell and guys like this. You got the young draft picks, Collins, West, but it's not a scary pass rush group. It's just not. And so I see this game looking like 7-on-7 for Matthew Stafford. Now, the difference is going to be, like, do they beat themselves? Because last game, they did exactly that. And you don't want to take anything away from the Niners, because I thought the Niners called a great game, no surprise offensively. That was like a clinic. The way they use Christian McCaffrey to their advantage in the passing game and in the run game, obviously. But now they have George Kittle back. So I don't know. I think it's a Herculean task to say go outscore the Rams, but they're going to have to do that, and they're going to have to play keep away a little bit. Now, the other side of things is the Rams had the ball for 45 fucking minutes on Sunday. Damn. Now, they're playing the Saints. They are a professional outfit. The other issue with the Rams is this. The Rams have a kicking problem, a big kicking problem. Now, they brought in this guy. They missed like 8 field goals the last 8 weeks.
They just got the thick kicker.
They got this guy, Harrison Mevis. They call him Thicker Kicker.
Thicker Kicker.
He's 5'11", 245.
Hell yeah.
Built like one of the flag football coaches I see on Saturdays. And he's kicking for a National Football League team. And I think this could be one of the biggest stories of the game on Sunday. So something to keep an eye on for sure.
Cardi has missed 8 kicks this year, 5 field goals, 3 extra points. Joshua Cardi.
Fucking crazy, dude.
That is fucking horrible.
And you know what? Another thing about the Rams is this. I don't know how you feel about this, Nolan, but I'm not saying it's a Ewing theory thing, but remember they were having a hard time finding Devontae Adams. Like, Devontae Adams and Stafford were having a really hard time. Then Puka went away for a second, and they go to London, and they get into a bunch of 12 and 13, and as a result, it really does like hone the offense, and it gets Devontae Adams and Stafford's connection cooking. He's been great in the red zone. They've also had that young Terrence Ferguson guy, the tight end. Like, he's come along for them. So like, I just am always enamored with both these coaching staffs and what they're able to do throughout a year, whether it's Shanahan dealing with the injuries or, McVay and the evolution of the offense and including different guys, different personnel sets. This is the Coach Bowl, man. 2 Hall of Fame coaches,
totally agree.
in my opinion.
Totally agree. I think what you've seen with this or during this Nacua absence is this Rams pass catching group is actually probably a lot deeper than people realize, especially when you factor in the tight ends. You mentioned Ferguson. Higbee's caught a lot of balls. Davis Allen's made some plays in the passing game as well. So it will be interesting to see as Puka gets reintegrated into the offense. How does that kind of change the production for the rest of the group?
Absolutely. And so I don't want to take anything away from the Niners. I know I'm being a little bit dismissive, but it is because of the pass rush. And I think even Niners fans would understand, like, this isn't how you drew it up. Every year it's like a house, right? You're like an architect is when you build a defense, you got your plans, you put certain resources here or that, or there or whatever. Like Nick Bosa is supposed to be in this house, dude. Like Nick Bosa is the foundation of this house. Fred Warner's the foundation of this house. So they truly are like cornerstones. Now, I don't know who the other two are because I think you have 4 cornerstones in a fucking house plan, right? But maybe, hey, they're raving about this kid Upton Stout. He's playing great. Saleh has been such a breath of fresh air. Mm-hmm. You couldn't have a better coaching staff in San Francisco. I think they're going to remain relevant through the entire year, but it's just the injuries are piling up.
That's my excitement.
And Williams is down now, too, with an ACL. I talked about the pass rush, not that he's been a big part of it, but, like, there's an attrition there.
But that's my excitement of just watching this and kind of seeing the good side, not really a good side, but like when you see a bunch of injuries happen in different teams, it's just seeing how coaches and teams respond. And it's something that not every team goes through it like as heavily as another team. So it's interesting week to week to see Saleh have to muster up what he has and get together a defensive plan and get guys out there. And it just seems like he always has his guys in the right spot, whether the guys who are filling in can make these plays or not. I think that's going to be the interesting
thing. It was funny because they're young. They're a young group and everything. And I watched them last week, and like they got Bethune out there, and Dable's like trying to early on in the game like attack him with RPOs and stuff. And you're just watching like young players kind of learn on the fly, and like Stout's out there and he's making plays and the whole thing. But it was kind of funny watching. There was a pressure in the game. It was like edge pressure in the first half, and it took fucking forever to get home. Like laughably bad. And, that happens with young players, like holding their disguises too long. Theo Johnson picked off the edge pressure guy on one side. And I was thinking to myself, like, if this is what they've got for LA, like Stafford's going to carve him a new asshole. And I'm not trying to be negative, but it just is what it is, dude. Like, you're learning on the job. You got a lot of guys who are learning on the job. Saleh's a great coach, but this would be, and I know the game's at home, but this would be a Herculean task to get this win. And this is a big game for the Rams, man. That's another thing. The Rams are going to be pissed off. This game felt like yesterday, right? Season moves fast. They gave that game away at home, and they're 0-1 in the division. They have Seattle coming up. They got a bunch. Look at the Ram. Pull up the Rams schedule if you could, Cowboy Reed.
Well, and think about their losses too, Chris. Obviously this team, but then the loss to the Eagles was like literally as last second as it gets. The Rams are quietly,
their NFC losses, Beau. And right. That's why this is so big.
It's like the most hurtful losses.
Yes, dude. Like, look at the way. Okay, so in the NFC, they had this loss to Philly where they probably felt like, hey, we were the better team. Like they came back and got us. San Francisco, you lose in overtime. Those are and then you beat the Saints. Like, you don't have a great NFC record. You're winless in the NFC West in a really small sample size. And what I'm speaking to is the importance of this game because they have Seattle coming up after this, and then they have Tampa. They got to go to Carolina, which has not been a walk in the park for anybody but Buffalo. And then you get Arizona. You still got to play Seattle again. So
and Detroit,
bro. Like, you need this game. You're gonna get the best version of Sean McVay, the best version of Matt Stafford this week.
They get 9.
Well, let's not forget about the Rams defense either, man. Like, that's a matchup I'm really excited to watch. You talk about the coaching matchup between McVay and Shanahan, obviously kind of an all-time matchup, two dudes that really know each other. But the defense for the Rams is nasty. Like, they have a bevy of nice young rushers.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see how Shanahan kind of schemes up McCaffrey, and I think he's going to touch the ball like 35 times.
What have you guys seen?
But like chips into like screen game, shit like that. Like, I think they do a lot of really creative shit to slow down that pass rush for the Rams. I'm excited to see it.
Forbes had some big plays last week, didn't he?
Yeah.
And listen, like, that's one thing quiet has kept about this whole group is like the secondary doesn't have a lot of guys that like blow you out of the water from a name recognition standpoint, but they play pretty well. And, they made a move around the trade deadline. I think one of the most underrated players in the league is Quinn Lake.
He's played every defensive snap for the Rams this season, 512, one of 8
guys
players.
Just don't know about him.
Malcolm Jenkins shit right there.
Some Jenks shit. And so I just look at this group and I'm like, man, they're plenty good to compete for a Super Bowl with the defense that they have, and it starts with the cheat code, which is getting pressure with 4, and so we'll see, man. But this is a big game for them for all the reasons we mentioned.
I think the Rams take it. I think Macon's smoking some crack cocaine.
I wish I'd given out the Rams now that I've talked about it for a couple minutes.
Moving on to the rest of these games, we've got another matchup in the NFC West. The Cardinals at the Seahawks. Seahawks 6.5-point favorites. The total sits at 45.
Hey, the Cardinals have gotten a lot better. You want to know why? Kyler Murray's out, baby. Jacoby Brissett, he's running that offense, man. He's actually fun to watch with him. They're better with him, I'm telling you.
Dude, he's a leader. I mean, he's a pro quarterback. He's always been, I play with him in New England. Guys love him, and I know that's not everything, and that's not why they're playing better, just because they like the guy and everything. But I do think his vision in the middle of the field helps, right? Like they're able to, and I know it's kind of funny, but like Trey McBride's your best weapon. Marvin Harrison Jr. is up there and everything, but Trey's the guy. Trey's scoring touchdowns now. Like, he's able to find him in the red zone. Like, they're running the ball better with Jacoby Brissett. And, I know he can't move, but that's about it. That's really honestly the one thing that Kyler does better. And sometimes the way Kyler can scramble, does him a disservice. It gives him trap doors and shit like that, where I feel like if he'd have just been forced to sit in the pocket through his career and not have this incredible athleticism, he might have had to develop a little bit better as a passer from a progression vision standpoint, but I've never seen him take the leap. Now, it's kind of a funny thing because in spurts he can be dynamic, but the Cardinals are scoring like 5 more points a game. Now, it's a small sample size, and there's always the like Cinderella thing where the quarterback turns into a pumpkin at some point, but this guy's been in the league a long time, and sometimes when you're a team, like, forget how the guy got here, like, what's your team look like when he plays quarterback for you? And I think they are if this team started the season this way, I think they're challenging for a playoff spot. I've thought this way about the defense all year long. It's a very good defense. They've gotten a couple guys back. Sorry, Nolan, we didn't even get to but Garrett Williams came back last week. That's a big deal. Max Melton's hurt. But, like, go ahead with the injuries, and then I'll get on my soapbox about the Cardinals.
Yeah, so getting Garrett Williams back was huge. The defense is a lot better with him on the field. Max Melton still working through concussion protocol. Mac Wilson was also out of practice Wednesday, their linebacker. And then on the Seahawks side, Josh Jobe and Cooper Kupp missed practice on Wednesday.
Yeah, so I mean, like, I think this game comes down to the defensive lines. I think that's you come to watch the D lines. Like, we talk about the quarterback and the difference, in Arizona and that sort of thing. But
let me ask you this: do you think we've seen Kyler play his last game at Arizona?
Yes.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah, if Brissett just plays, if he plays decent, barring like he doesn't get injured.
Yeah, and there's people on TV right now talking about, hey, maybe somebody would like to take a shot at Kyler, which I think kind of feels unthinkable because I feel like his ceiling is known. Like, how many people do you see this guy
take a shot like in trades?
Yeah, like somebody was floating the Jets going to get him or something. And I think part of it is because now these quarterbacks in college is so hard to predict. Like, some of them stay in school because the money's so good. And there's really not – I don't think next year's class is thought to be like a great class. I don't know. There's a couple guys in that class, but I'm not a college football fan. They got Sellers and these dudes, but I don't think next year's class is like the class last year.
No.
It's not like the class this year.
Yeah.
It's not as bad as the class this year, I wouldn't think.
No.
But the point is like there's kind of there's not a surplus of veteran starting quarterbacks. I think Mac Jones – he's on a 2-year deal. Is he on a 2-year deal in San Francisco?
I think that's right.
So, like, somebody could make a move for Mac Jones, and San Francisco's holding on to him, right? Aaron Rodgers, another veteran quarterback, probably stays in Pittsburgh if he keeps playing. There is the scenario where somebody wants to take a stab at him, but I wouldn't.
Yeah, and the Cardinals, like, if you want to keep Jacoby for the next season and a half through 2026 and set up the rest of your team, the 2026 QB draft class is middling, but it's the 2027 class is when the stars are going to be out.
Yeah, so I mean, like I think Jacoby's a really nice bridge for you, and it honestly, if I'm John Gannon, who I think has kind of gotten fucked a little bit there because of the quarterback situation, and has quite as kept one of the best defenses in the league, and the defensive line right now is playing fantastic. Josh Sweat, Calais Campbell, Nolan, this young guy Nolan, he is a fucking dancing bear, dog. I know he's not like a 340-pound guy, but he plays stout. Like he can drop. Okay, Beau, you know what I'm talking about. But you take on an out block, that guard, sink your hips, kind of widen your base. His feet get in the ground and they stay there. Like he's kind of a strong guy. I mean, like especially for his weight and kind of the profile coming in. Like I like his play strength, and he attacks edges all day long. He's on an edge the entire time. Like he's got that was his first NFL game.
First game, 1 sack, 4 total tackles, 2 tackles.
His first 2 plays were like, oh shit. and then like to finish the way he finished, I gotta say, I don't want to get out over my skis, but he's it's his first game. He looked like a pro. Like this guy. So they've hit on, Darius Robinson's playing better. They hit on Josh Sweat in free agency. I mentioned him. He's got 7 sacks.
He's got 7 sacks. Yes,
he played great on Monday.
And they've got Calais too, man.
And they've got Calais.
Father Time.
And they've got a great secondary. And so I think John Gannon deserves a lot of credit for engineering that thing. And Petzing looks a lot more like a pro coordinator. Shocker. So did Cliff Kingsbury when he fucking left. So after a while, the problem is it's the quarterback. And so, yeah, I'm totally cool with them making this move. You also have to do it because who else likes this stuff? The D-line. I watched them at the end of that game on Monday. It was like a feeding frenzy. At the end of these games where it's kind of garbage time and everybody's hunting for stats, they want to be in those situations more. They haven't been in them a lot. And it's a lot of fun watching this team play right now. I didn't even mention Zaven Collins. He ran somebody the fuck over the other night. They got a good defense, and so do the Seahawks. The only reason I live with the Cardinals is because I feel like everybody knows now how good the Seahawks are.
And they got better.
And they got better. They got better with Rashid Shaheed. But this defensive line, this game's going to come down to how well both these offensive lines cover their deficiencies, and namely Anthony Bradford for the Seahawks, who somehow they didn't find a replacement for at the trade deadline. And on the other side, it's Jonah Williams and the guard right inside of him. I'm just blanking on his fucking name. Will Hernandez. So to me, it's like, how do you hide your deficiencies? But in that first game, that was a knockdown drag out. And another thing is Seattle found a way to run the ball. So they're going to come right back to that in this game, I think.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing. We talked about that, Chris, on Tuesday with Mina. But like if, with Shaheed joining the Seahawks, if they can just get lighter boxes, lighter looks, run the ball more, it's going to be such a boon for their team. Like offensively, they're obviously fucking really explosive. JSN is like the fucking man. He's leading the league in yardage, right? At wide receiver.
It's almost at 1,000 yards.
Yeah, it's incredible. And it feels like he's obviously the primary focus of every defense each week. But if they can pull some guys out of the box, teams have to play cover 2, and they can run the ball. That just is built perfectly for their offensive scheme. Like it's gonna be a really good thing, man.
Do you all know, like, a big talking point with the Seahawks run game is the fact that Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet are so close in carries and touches, despite Kenneth Walker having 4.5 yards a carry and Charbonnet getting 2.9 yards a carry. Charbonnet seems to get all the carries down by the goal line, but he still has 0.
Dude, it is a thing like where you're like, why do they like him so much better?
Yeah,
it feels like a personal.
Is there something like in his running style? Is there something that he brings to the offense?
Honestly, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah,
I couldn't tell you.
I actually dove into this, Reed. I was really curious about this too. And there've been a couple quotes just with like the coaches talking about it in press conferences where they've kind of said out loud that they're trying to preserve Walker for December and January. So I think it's more of that, but to me, I feel like that stuff kind of predates this regime and like the way this season's gone. So I don't know. I guess we'll find out here soon how they really favor those guys into the final stretch of the season.
Yeah. God damn it, Kilmer won't give me the ball when we get in the goal line.
Oh, that's good.
With Shaheed, we talked about it with Mina, but obviously scooped him from New Orleans. Clint Kubiak was the offensive coordinator down there last year for 6 games before Shaheed was hurt. Shaheed averaged 17.4 yards a catch with Kubiak as the offensive coordinator. That 17-game pace, he would have been on 57 catches, 988 yards, 9 touchdowns.
Well, here's the most important thing. I don't think Derek Carr was playing that well.
Right.
And so, like, they couldn't even get the most out of this guy. And it felt like, to me, this is the thing where Kubiak was like, I can't wait to get this guy. You know, the other night I likened it to, like, when somebody falls in the draft to him, like, I can't fucking believe he fell to me. I can't believe they're giving us this guy.
Right.
You know, I can't believe we're the ones who get this guy. I like him. I've coached him. He caught 3 balls for, like, 40-plus yards early in the season. You know, you said 17 yards of play. Think about the way that JSN demands attention. Well, now you've got a speed element opposite him or adjacent to him where you can play high-low games. Like, you look at some of the routes he ran last year, digs, crossers, deep outs. Like, it just fits really well with what they do. And I also think I'm interested to see if, like, he took his number's 22. Are they going to use him in a funny way? You know, are they gonna move this cat around, put him in the backfield some? He's kind of got that gadget kind of profile about him. I'm excited to see what they do with him, man. So the other thing in this game, I want to mention the game, is the matchup that might be worth staying for is the Emanwari-McBride matchup. It's this guy, and we talk about him all the time, but he's turning into like one of the stars of the next couple years in the NFL here. Is the Nick Emanwari guy. And Trey's a stud as well. I don't think we got to see this last time, so I'm really excited about this one. And you know, reminiscent of the fact that, remember when Isaiah Simmons came to Arizona and it didn't work out, but we used to talk about it in this light. You know, sometimes when you draft a guy to take away certain guys in division. You know, and I feel like Emanwari is the successful version of that play. Where you bring him in, and Trey McBride's one of those guys that, like, he's literally here to stop.
That's a great call, Chris. And we've talked a lot about Emanwari, the stuff he's done in the run game and the screen game for the Seahawks defense thus far. But when you dive into the tape, there have been some snaps of him in coverage where there was a play early on in the Bucs game where he ended up in man-to-man on a Egbuka in the slot, and Egbuka ran a slot fade. And I was watching the play, I was like, shit. Like, this is a tough one for Emanwari. And he matched him stride for stride, flipped his hips, as big as he is, flipped his hips, ran with him in phase, and took him out of the play for that game, or for that play. And it was just one of those plays where it's like, oh yeah, this dude's for real. So that's going to be an awesome matchup. Hopefully we see a lot of man-to-man between those guys.
He's a fucking stud.
McBride, you mentioned it earlier. He's catching touchdown passes with Jacoby Brissett in there behind under center. 4 touchdowns in 3 career games with Jacoby. Had 5 touchdowns in 39 career games with Kyler.
So this game, in my opinion, I'm hopeful that this is a great game, and I suspect it could actually be a better game than Rams-Niners, but I don't know. So we put Rams-Niners in the big 3. This kind of got grandfathered in. We talked about it like a breakdown. The rest of the way, I mean, there's some fun games in here, but
fun games, a little bit of a few duds. This game, Buffalo at Miami, on paper, you know, your first glance looks like another, like, Bills are just going to roll. But the Dolphins have, like, they've stumbled down in Miami. The Bills have before. Buffalo, Miami are 9.5-point underdogs, 50 points total.
Well, it got a little hairy the last time they played, if you remember. Didn't it go to OT? It feels like 3 years ago, but
yeah, fuck.
Jesus Christ. Some of those night games, it's like, especially on a Thursday night when we get done doing this, you get home and you're like, what's going on here? But what I want to see out of that Bills defense is building on what we saw last week. You know, they've been hot and cold, more hot than cold lately. I talked about McDermott calling plays and that sort of thing. one more time. Cole Bishop last week, take a bow. He was great. We're seeing Maxwell Hairston work into the rotation. Typically, this is a team that I feel like they play pretty well against. I just felt like the time they played Miami in the first game this season, it kind of felt like they sleptwalked through the game a little bit. And then it got sketchy, and it was like, damn, it's whoever's going to have the ball last, right? And it took, wasn't a Prater kick, something like that at the end of the game. It kind of got wild. Honestly, no, they were up 7. They were so it wasn't an overtime game, was it?
Earlier this season?
No.
I think the first one was like what, 31-21 was the first?
This season.
I know a game you're talking about, Chris. It might have been last year.
No, you know what it was?
OT.
I thought it was an OT, but it was really close because Prater had to make the kick to cover. I think at the end of the game, they were in 4-minute mode, had the ball up a touchdown, and in that game, I couldn't believe they kicked. It was one of those things where you're like, they're not really going to kick, are they? And he hit this booming kick, and they covered. But it was a fucking dogfight, dude. It was close. It was very close. And for the Dolphins, man, you keep thinking, are they dead? Are they not dead? They're playing dead, and they play that the way they played against Atlanta, and then the Ravens game, it's like, oh, they're just back to being mid. So I don't know.
Is this the matchup this week that is the biggest difference in vibes in each building? Like the Bills coming off the Chiefs.
Ooh, the vibe.
And the Dolphins are just like Mike McDaniel is being forced at gunpoint almost to coach this team.
Let's see.
Hey man, you can't go leave to play with the Texans this year. You can't go to the 49ers and have some.
No, I almost kind of wonder if it's spite them keeping him there.
It has to
because he at the podium he sounds like he wants out.
Yeah,
he sounds like he's like, how fucked up can I be?
Bro, he literally said, hopefully my quarterback doesn't go
throw
out
10
there
picks.
and throw 10 picks. Like,
I love it, though. Let's get less of a fuck out of McDaniels. Like, let's go full don't give a fuck.
Stephen Ross has to know that if he fires him, McDaniel's going to go make a playoff run with whether it's the 49ers or he's going to turn the Texans into an offensive behemoth, or he's going to go to one of these teams, maybe the Lions, maybe the Eagles, and he's going to go have some fun, and he can't stand that. So he's doing the only thing that will frustrate the fuck out of McDaniel.
He also probably knows he could risk getting the interim bump here, and he needs a QB. They need a high draft pick, so they're trying to avoid that too.
Yeah, no, we don't need to start winning games. We just want to cover, and that's a lot of points. So that's why I didn't give the Bills out. I probably end up not. I might. It's inevitable. I put the Bills in the teaser. This is a perfect Bills teaser spot. What's the line in this game now? 9.5.
9.5.
Yeah, it's perfect. Perfect. Now,
but kind of on this note with this game though, this will be the last matchup we see between Mike McDaniel and Sean McDermott. And there have been some fun schematic matchups between those two over the years. Like you guys remember in 2023, the Dolphins went to Buffalo coming off hanging 70 on Reed's Broncos, and the Bills shut them down in that game. They only scored like 20 points or something, like a discrepancy like 50 points. So there have been some fun matchups between those two guys, and it's obviously not the end of the road for Mike McDaniel as a play caller. And you never know. Maybe Mike McDaniel will be Sean McDermott's OC next season when Joe Brady gets a head job.
Yeah, Joe Brady to Tennessee. The last thing I'll mention in this game, are the Bills getting enough offense? Are we giving the Bills enough flowers on offense? Because you look at all these metrics, they're number one in success rate, number one in yards per game, with James Cook running the ball. When Allen targets Dalton Kincaid, he almost has a perfect passer rating, 158.1 when he targets Dalton Kincaid. Is it like, are we giving them, because early in the season we were like, oh, they need to make a move for a wide receiver, they need to do this.
No, it'd be great to make a move for a wide receiver. I think it would have been even better to make a move for a tackle, a defensive tackle. No, they didn't want to do that. I think two teams at the deadline not making moves speaks a lot to how good they think their teams are, and I think and those teams are the Rams and the Bills. Because Beans made moves at deadline. Mm-hmm. Like if you remember, they a couple years ago, what was it, Rasul Douglas, and then they got Amari Cooper at the deadline, and then obviously Rams have made moves at deadline, famous moves at deadline. But I think it speaks to the confidence in the rosters that they have and the quarterbacks that they have. But also this year, I don't think you have to be a special team to win the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think that to me is the field deeper. Absolutely. Is it more fun that way? Yeah. But I don't think there's any great teams in the NFL this year, like truly transcendently great teams.
Dominant, yeah.
And that to me is why the Colts go for it.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me is why the Bills don't make a move, because they think, fuck, we just beat the Chiefs. And I think what they also know is this. The Ravens aren't as good as they've been in the past.
Mm-hmm.
I know that Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott and Josh Allen think, hey, we can beat the Colts. Okay? I think there's a thing in this matchup, and you just mentioned tight ends, where you saw it in the first half of the game. Like, they're going to own the middle of the field in that next matchup too. Now, what Kansas City does offensively, that's another question entirely, but it's hard to get the Bills off the field even without great receivers. And so, yeah, like to take you through Brandon Beane's thought process, I'm sure it's, hey, A, we think we're good enough. B, I would have done it on defense first.
Mm-hmm.
And in the meantime, I'm not going to – when you go out and get a wide receiver, Keon Coleman's been in the league a year and a half. You spent – a high pick on him, like that's also a declaration that just didn't work.
Right.
And maybe they think he's still got a shot to be pretty good. I don't know.
Well, they have since the bye.
They're also down a receiver right now, Josh Palmer.
Yeah.
So.
And since the bye, the Bills weeks 1 through 6, they had a .167 pass EPA per play. Weeks 8 and 9, a .334 EPA per play. Now that could be the teams are playing, but that's definitely shows significant improvement and probably gives Brandon Beane the decision. It makes the decision easier that he didn't go get somebody. That he didn't go get somebody.
I thought they got caught with their pants down in Atlanta. I mean, that was just a fucking they didn't have a good game plan. Their defense got jumped. And you see what happens if you stabilize the defense. And I'm not saying it's stabilized yet because we had concerns about them going to the Kansas City game. I still want to see more. That's the theme of this game for me. But, like, if you stabilize the defense and you play complementary football, if they'd been playing complementary football, I'm getting fried right now because Russillo fucking clipped me and when I said Josh Allen's the best quarterback on the planet. That's what they decided. Now Russillo's with Barstool. I'm being judged by a jury of my frat boy peers. It's like what's the argument? Who's been better the last 2-3 years?
Well, I was about to say, what are the trolls saying? Like,
they're not trolling. It's just people they don't want to admit it that if they'd have played complimentary football with this guy over the course of his career, he'd had 2 already. He had two Super Bowls,
no doubt.
And to me, it's more about stabilizing the defense than it is the offense. They're gonna they could put Beau, myself, Nate at wide receiver and score 21 points a game. They got a great run game. They got a good offensive line. They got great tight ends, and they've got a quarterback who's a fucking freak show. And
Fax is good for 2 tutties, right?
For sure.
Anytime Tutty put it on Fax.
But I would just challenge people. Like what I'm talking about is over the last 3 years, and I know so you're saying, oh, that's cherry picking. Okay, well, how about right now? Like. How about right now? Because Mahomes has not played his best the last couple of years. He's easily the most accomplished quarterback of our generation. But how about now? Are you going to give it to a rookie who's played very well? Love the guy, Drake May. He might be next. But I want to see more. The guy who's been the most consistent with top-end performance and honestly in the playoffs hasn't come up with it because the defense has been Josh Allen.
We'll head to Chicago, the Windy City, and the Giants and the Bears matchup. Bears minus 4.5-point favorites. 46.5 is the total. We've got a little bit of a TikTok QB battle in this one. Jackson Dart and Caleb Williams.
The Bears, baby.
Okay, so I
Did you see those boots? Would you wear those boots, Beau? Do you see those boots that Caleb Williams had on?
I didn't see the boots. Pull the boots up.
New boot goofing? Let me see these boots.
They're like a type of bro. They're like the type of boot. It looks like I don't know, like a cow's foot or something, like
a hoof.
Yes,
he's got hoof boots.
They're tabbies.
Is that
they got a split?
Yeah, it looks
like Heelys.
Put this up on the internet, people too. Let me see. I got nothing on my screen.
Yeah, well, and this is we got to do a better job of this, like bringing our links in, because
my bad.
Because I got Reed over here like Caleb Williams boots, and
no, it's the one where he's walking right here. This one, like look at it. Look at those.
Oh, they are kind of like hooves.
Bro, that can't feel good for your feet.
Oh, yeah. I'll rock those for sure.
Well, I don't think his toes right up against the hoof.
But your toes are split. They're split up in there.
Yeah.
I kind of want some hoof boots, dude. Where can you get those? Where do you get those? Hoof boots.
I'll find them for you.
Bro, they don't have
those.
Those
are probably like
size.
7.5.
They don't have those.
Probably $750,000 boots.
No, they have those in the 15, bro.
I don't think they may. Oh! I think I got them.
They really look like some damn cow hooves.
Yeah, if you can find me those, that'd be great. Like, but you don't have to do it now. This is the weather game, dude.
Caleb Williams does something, Chris. You gotta rock those boots. Like if he has like 2 touchdowns and like 300 yards.
Dude, if I could find the boots, I'd wear them. I'd wear them for free.
Or a last-minute touchdown, Hail Mary touchdown to Loveland.
This is the weather game, or the game that's most like. I got my theme of the game is most likely to see a coaching mismatch. I think, and I did Bears team total. I just feel like this is one of those games where it's like Shane Bowen's not a popular guy. Right now, it doesn't seem like that in that locker room. And I just feel like the Bears' run game's cooking. There were plays last week. I saw some pretty awesome stuff on tape. I know it's the Bengals, but like I'll say this until it sticks, but Darnell Wright is becoming their version of Penei Sewell. I mean, he had that in him before Ben Johnson showed up, but now you're kind of seeing it, you know.
Did you see that one clip?
The 4th and 1's crazy, and then the long run, you know, he's out in space. They're behind him. Theo Benedette at one point. This was a crazy deal. I have a video. I wish I could show you. I actually had to go to the wide to see where he put the DB. He Trevor Penninged him. He put him. He almost took his own coach's ACLs out. He put a DB 6 yards out of bounds. It was crazy. So it's an attitude thing.
Michael Orr blindside block.
Yeah, something like that. But it was
down on the bench.
It was just so Johnson versus Bowen. This is what I got. Bears run game versus Giants run game. Number 1 team in explosive rush percentage facing the number 1 31 team in explosive rush percentage allowed. Okay. And what's wild is like maybe it's not so wild that the Bears are that good that quick in the run game. But what's wild to me is that the Giants, with the front that they have been so poor on, you know, in really every phase. But like the defense should be a lot better in the run game. And here's why they're not. Because the support players on that defense run around like chickens with their head cut off. Mm-hmm. And I feel like this is a perfect game for Ben Johnson. He's going to have those guys on a string. They're going to run outside zone. The eye candy is going to be a lot to handle. You see the trick plays that they're coming out with where Cole Kmet lines up under center and then he throws it to Williams, who throws it to Kmet, who throws it to a fucking receiver. That's some wild shit. You know what else I like about this team? And I don't know if Rome Odunze's dad, and I don't blame dads for going to bat for their kids and that sort of thing. Although if I was a player and my dad was like talking publicly about my usage, I'd be kind of like a little bit like, oh fuck. Maybe that's because I got a famous dad. But no, but like the Rome Odunze thing is interesting because I think he's a great player. I think he's a lot of fun to watch, and I think he's got a bright future. And the Bears, after the game on Monday, this is my favorite social media post of the week, posted him mic'd up, blocking the fuck out of people the whole game. Mm-hmm. People hyping up Rome, great block, blocking your ass off. Rome Odunze burying people, and the copy was selfless. And I think that's like, I like that. I don't know why I like that. I like that. It's like, you know, not every week you're going to get a bunch of targets. Maybe there is some truth to them needing to use him more. Maybe it's too much DJ Moore, not enough of him. But like, I just like the attitude that Ben Johnson's instilling in this team, and I watch it, and it manifests in the way guys finish plays, and I do think the quarterback's getting better, and I've said it before. I think he's going to be fine. So you have to run the ball on these guys, and you will. Lots of injured backs for Chicago.
In the last 6 quarters, Shane Bowen's defense has allowed 875 yards, 85 points, and forced just 1 punt.
And that's tough, dude. This is a spot where the Bears absolutely need to win this game. The Giants' offense, like I said, looks broken. Their success rate is kind of similar to what it was with Scadaboo in the lineup on early downs, but you watch their offense play, and it's a vibe thing. It's just like they're not moving piles. They're not, they don't have the same physical edge to what they do on early downs. And, I also think like once last week, Saleh kind of confused Jackson Dart a little bit, and they clamped down on the RPOs. There was some bad football being played by the Giants offense. So I don't know what to say, man. I just think this is a Bears spot. And has anybody seen the Joe Shane burner?
Oh my!
Anybody
God.
talking about this Joe Shane burner?
Oh my goodness!
Can you pull up Jason Smith XLII on X.com? They think this guy's Joe Shane.
And they said it was a dead account until after the trade.
Lifelong New York Giants fan. Keep Joe Shane is the bio. Then we've got he retweeted the injury report for the Giants. 3 hours ago at time of tape, this account retweeted when they try to use Jackson Dart as a reason for keeping Joe Shane. Just remember how fucking lucky this man got to land Dart. This account said Joe Shane loved Dart from the start, but he was going to draft the guy Daboll wanted. Daboll wanted shithead Door Sanders.
Wow. No, now I don't believe it's him.
He probably would have. It would have just been earlier. Plus, Cam Ward is going to be better than Dart. Both are good, but Ward will be better.
Dude, you're missing the crown jewel of this account. The crown jewel of tweets from this account. I don't know when the date was, but it's all since November 4th, right? Because he just magically signed up for one. And we don't think this is Joe Shane. I have no reason to believe it's Joe Shane. If he is, he's being brazen as fuck with this burner because everybody has found him out and he just keeps tweeting. But this one tweet, this is a quote, I hope when Daniel Jones retires, he recounts the time he was called the R word by a coach. Won't say who, since it's a pretty serious accusation, but DJ was called the R word by a coach. I think it's Dable. No, this is probably not true, but like, can you imagine if it was?
He in another tweet on the 5th, if I may quote a coach that is employed by the Giants, you are a fucking R word.
What?
If you think this is a burner.
If I may quote a coach that's employed by, okay, got it. So he's coming back to that. And then also maybe Giants fans will be interested to know Daboll and Kafka have a personal vendetta against Hyatt, and that's why he doesn't play. So anyways, this guy's like being real specific with stuff, and it's got people thinking that it's a burner for the GM.
Or is the GM what they
believe.
said is supposedly he has a son, and some people suspect it could be his son, like at bat for his dad. Kind of like playing that.
I'm gonna get my wife to get make a burner and
so
just
great.
go to bat for me.
She probably that should go viral.
She probably already has a burner. Chris is shit talking to you. She's the one in our comments just
probably. That's true. That's probably true. Yeah, Nepo baby Beau.
Yeah, that's her.
But this game should just be fun. I don't know if it's going to be high quality football, but lately the Bears have played some fun football games.
You think this is going to be the Hemingway game? If we were going to predict the Hemingway game, is that this game?
I think the Hemingway game ends up. This is a good candidate for the Hemingway game.
I think it's going to be me again.
I think Houston Jacksonville was my Hemingway game.
I also think Colts and Falcons could be a Hemingway game.
Yeah.
Browns Jets is an obvious contender.
Yeah, but like the kind of drunk where you're like, it's the end of the night and you can't move.
Or
and you're like, fuck, I got to get up. and piss right here.
You're the one where you look in the mirror, you see yourself in the bathroom mirror, and you're like, get it together.
Yo,
you know
sometimes when I get drunk enough and I look in the mirror, I'm like looking at a different person.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
You kind of disassociate.
Yeah,
You're like,
oh, buddy.
You're like, who the fuck is? Am I me? You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of drunk I want to see in this game, dude. That's the kind of drunk I want. You know, when you're so drunk and you're passing out, you can hear the silence. Like, dude, you got to ring it in your ears. That's what I want to see from this game.
In a game that's going to feature probably one team seemingly drunk and one team just on a mission, the Lions go to the nation's capital, Detroit at Washington. Washington is 8-point underdogs. They're getting 8 points, 49 the total. This seems like it might I think you said it earlier, this has the game that's most likely to look like a murder scene.
Hey, you know,
be the Hemingway game.
Yeah, it's the most likely to be a murder scene game. And I'm not saying it's necessarily going to be one, but like everybody obviously is on the Lions because they have it's funny because you approach a game like this and you're like, oh, I'm betting the Lions because they just lost to the Commanders and they're pissed off after last week. But there's part of me that's like, hey, the Lions got some issues. And that's a lot of points. Do I think the Lions win this game? Do I think they play as good as they can? Absolutely. They probably got it. They got it bad this week from Dan Campbell.
The Lions have won and covered in 12 in a row after a loss dating back to November 1st of 2022, the longest streak for any team in the last 30 years.
I would have put, you know, in a case like this, the way the Commanders have played, like I would have thought there'd be more points, you know, that they'd have given them more points. I guess, you know, another thing is like the Commies, they're headed to Madrid in a week.
Yeah.
Like with the way everything's going, like is this a distraction kind of game, a look-ahead game for them? But again, for Detroit, like Christian Mahogany broke his ankle last week. That's a big deal. You know, Decker's got a shoulder. He suffered a knee injury last week. Now, they're not facing the best rush group, but for a group that didn't play well healthy-ish last week, like I kind of worry about that stunting. You know, it used to be a mentality thing with them where it's like, and they still got a great mentality, but it is a lot harder to just decide today we're going to wake up and physically impose our will on this team. They're just not the same group up front. And so they've been really bad on first and second down running the football the last couple of weeks. If you take that fucking long run, ifs were a fifth, but if you take that long run off the board against the Bucs, like from a mathematical standpoint, like they have not been running the ball with authority. That was one long run they hit against the Bucs, but the last couple of weeks they've had trouble doing it. And the wildest stat to me was last week. They hadn't converted a 3rd and 10 all year.
Wow.
And the first one that they were going to get was backed up. They threw the dump down, and Cashman at the sticks runs up and takes the ball off of them. So like that to me is just like 7th circle of hell shit. So if you're the Commanders, maybe you decide to just bring a bunch of pressure, dude, and say fuck it. Like we got nothing to lose. Like let's try to hit Jared Goff and let's try to blitz the A-gaps with copycat league. The Lions have to have an answer for that stuff because Gibbs was really bad in pass pro last week. All I'm saying is, yeah, you take away the Gibbs touchdown versus Tampa Bay. Gibbs is 42 for 148, and Montgomery is 28 for 85 over that span.
Wow.
And Goff's been sacked 14 times the last 3 games. I know Detroit fans in this show, we got a funny little bit going where you guys tell me I'm an asshole and I poke you guys back, but I'm not trying to like troll. I'm not trying to do anything here. Like these are concerns that you got. And I think the saving grace is that defense has played so hard, you know, no matter who's in the secondary, like maybe the defense on the road wills them to an easy win, but I don't know that anything's easy for them offensively right now.
Right.
We're seeing Ahmad drop some passes too. He still got the yips a little bit, seeing it in a couple of games here.
He did drop a couple balls last week. You didn't like my theory?
What is that?
He's the sun god.
Oh, and because of daylight saving?
Yeah, he's feeling a little bit off. He runs on solar. We're getting less sunlight. I figured I'd just float that one again.
One quick injury note before we move. I was pretty shocked to see this. So Jaden Daniels obviously going to be out for a little while, but fortunately, the MRI of his elbow showed no fractures or ligament damage, which I thought was pretty unbelievable based on
what a freak
we all
show.
saw.
Jeez.
He hasn't yet been placed on IR, so the team's kind of gathering more information. I think they're getting some more opinions.
You know those guys that could dance and do all this?
Yeah, hypermobile.
Maybe he is a dancer. Maybe he can do all that, and that saved his
He just has flexible bones.
his ligaments.
Flexibones.
So what you saying, Nolan, is we might see him this year?
He's not on IR yet, which suggests, if they knew for sure he's going to be out for longer than a month, you're putting him on IR right away, but they haven't done that yet. So that suggests, nothing's definitive, but that suggests it could be a shorter timeline than anticipated.
Nice.
Jumping to the next game, and this is our backup quarterback section. The Commanders Lions were the first game in that grouping, but the Jaguars at the Texans. The Texans getting a point, 37.5 is the total. Pretty low total for a little Davis Mills, Trevor Lawrence action.
We're about to turn Davis Mills into General Mills.
This is the neck bowl. This is the thick neck bowl. Cowboy Cabs, can you pull up a picture of Trevor Lawrence's neck? Just Google Trevor Lawrence neck.
That's crazy.
And Google.
Pause, bro.
No.
Pause.
Because we whites, we don't say neck when we talk about fellatio. But look at the size of this guy's neck. It's wider than his head. It's also long. That is a powerful neck. Now, pull up Davis Mills' neck.
Yo, what are we doing?
These guys only play each other once. Look at that fucking neck, dog. Look at that fucking neck. It legit looks like AI did a bad job. It looks like they put a mismatched head on a neck.
Oh, man.
That's an impressive neck. This is the neck bowl.
Well,
And who's kicking field goals for fucking Houston? Because if Kaimi Fairbairn's not playing in this game, I don't know what they do. They got to score on explosives. If I were the fucking Texans, I'd be, as soon as I get into the gold zone, I'd be taking shots at the end zone. Let's just skip the red zone.
They've been horrible in the red zone.
Dog, watching their red zone tape is like watching a horror film. It is awful. They had goal to go twice, I believe, inside the 3-yard line last week, and it kind of looked like they were like, we'll be back here again. Like they were like, no big deal. Bro,
Yeah.
it's awful. So I honestly, and I've been on the Texans thing like, oh, maybe they'll turn it around, maybe they'll turn it around, maybe they'll turn it around. Last week it felt like the death knell, dude.
Fourth lowest red zone percentage since 2016.
Question for the group here. So, yes, about the kicker, Chris, Kaimi Fairbairn has not practiced this week dealing with that right quad injury. In my research this week, I found an interesting little factoid I wanted to run by you guys. So the Houston Texans offense has scored 84 points this season. The Cleveland Browns have scored 78, a difference of only 6 points.
Dude.
And ruminating on that, I was curious if you guys could tell me what the difference is between the 2025 Houston Texans and the 2025 Cleveland Browns.
Texans have a better defense.
Not by much.
But they do have a better defense.
The Texans have allowed only 14 less points.
But they do have a better defense. These are two of the top 5 defenses. I'm cutting hairs here. Here's the big difference. Nothing. Here's the big difference. The Browns have Quinshon Judkins.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah.
That's the big difference. The Browns have a better rushing attack. And I don't know, like, it's really sad, dude. It's sad because this team should be much better off. It should. And they've mismanaged the QB. Now he's hurt. He's got a slide. It was a bang play. But Alshire was like, yeah, see? And we were like, nah, it's a little bit different than the one you did. You did a little oopsie, buddy. That was a little whoopsie.
Payback game for that.
No, but Alshire was like, yeah, it was the same thing, right, everybody? Same hit. Yeah, close.
He was the
But I love that dude. I love Alshire.
it was the always sunny in Philadelphia meme is what Alshire was doing. He was on the board with the red string and saying, "Say it's the same one, same one.
Yeah.
I got the same."
Oh hell yeah!
For Jacksonville, how about Jacoby Myers coming over and after just losing to the Jaguars while being part of the Raiders, walking in the locker room and seeing guys that he quote unquote was talking crazy to in the game, and then now these guys are your team.
Oh, that's nuts. Was he supposedly talking crazy to him?
He said him and a few cornerbacks were going back and forth talking crazy to each other, and now you walk into the locker room a day and a half later, like pissed off after games. And now this is my team,
dude.
And it's like, can I let this go? You were just talking really fucking nuts.
Well, it depends on how personal it was. Like, did you mean some of the things? Like, did you mean that?
Demetrius Harvey tweeted this reporter that he asked Jacoby Myers if it is surprising to play for a team he just played against. Jacoby Myers said, "Nah, very." Because I was just talking crazy to some people.
That's just wild, dude. But
I can't picture him talking like really excessive shit though. Like he seems like such a nice, put together guy.
But he's tough. He's a tough dude. And honestly, I'll say this: I know Brian Thomas Jr. is out in this ball game, right? Okay, I don't know if it's a Ewing theory type thing, but I think they're going to be better off at this juncture with two sure-handed guys in Parker Washington,
absolutely,
and Jacoby Myers. Settle the offense down, run the football. Houston's tough to beat at home. They could go out there and not play offense. You still might lose to them. They're that good at home. You saw it last week.
Yep.
I mean, but
Houston has the thing like opens and closes, right? Indoor, outdoor.
I played a Super Bowl there, and I don't remember. I don't
like
think
sometimes it's open. Because if it's
closed,
because
it's closed.
Because if it's closed, you already know my name is
retractable roof.
My name is Cam Little, but my leg is big.
Yeah.
That means the whole field is open. We just gotta get.
How
the
do
ball.
you get away with that one?
We just gotta get the ball to what?
But I can't call it the neck
50-yard
ball.
line. The neck ball is crazy.
Yo, if that's crazy, that's certifiably
bro.
insane.
You just made Reed look up pictures of two dudes' long necks.
Well, but it's their necks, bro. You just said Cam,
Cam Little,
but I got a big old leg.
but my leg big.
That's what you said.
NFL record big, baby. 68 yards.
The Texans.
He sounds like Matt Khalil or whatever.
So now
Did you hear that story?
Is this some? Oh my god!
Did you hear that story, Bo?
What a great
Dude, I
hey
went to high school with her.
with her
Weather girl Haley. Yeah.
with
No
that chick.
way.
Oh my god!
It's
That's
so funny. Like, what a W. Because at first when I saw the caption, I was like, what the fuck is she doing talking bad about this old lineman's little dick? That's her ex-husband. Like she's on with like a streamer. And she's like, yeah, we just could never because of, and I didn't understand that what she was saying. I didn't see the beginning where she went like, nah, it was like this. And I was like, damn, bro, what a come up for you, dude. Like,
maybe it is, maybe it's not. She said the girth. It was like stacking two Coke bottles.
Yeah.
dude, that's an insane thing to be like, to be like, yo, my ex just fucking just gave me the best reference of all time. I
mean, I get that a lot, so
I was gonna make the joke. Well, here's the thing. Talk about something that we don't. So, anyways, I don't know how we got here.
Real fast with Brian Thomas Jr., Jacoby Myers. BTJ leads the NFL in drops this season with 9. The Jaguars have a league-high 30. Jacoby Myers has a 1.1% drop rate since the start of last season, 4th lowest amongst players with 1,000-plus.
You had better fucking believe, you little baby-faced fucking GM, if you go get me a receiver, he better have Stickum on his hands. He better be the most sure-handed guy.
You know what
Liam Cohen walked up to that little boy wonder.
You know what I love about this this trade also is even though I talk shit about the way he played in Jacksonville, the fact that Mac Jones supposedly hit up Trevor Lawrence and told him, "Hey, Jacoby Myers is like one of my favorite
That was cool.
receivers I ever played with and teammate. Like you're gonna love him and you got an absolute weapon." I think that's absolutely great. And hopefully, Trevor, this is it's a new leaf. You and Brian Thomas haven't been on the same page, But maybe this is something. Hey, you get the new guy going. All the old guys in that locker room be like, hey, I want to play better.
Yeah.
And it's just contagious.
No, listen, you guys use all the fucking help you can get. I'm glad you got Jacoby Myers. He seems like a good guy.
And the Jaguars do, they do have the fourth most catchable targets per game at 28.1, most catchable air yards per game. So maybe those Jacoby Myers props.
God,
Brian
Thomas, man,
but
like
catchable.
Catchable.
No, I know. What's it mean?
Wait, come on, stop.
No, I did. Oh, you're exhausted by a question.
I agree.
What does catchable mean?
In the bread basket, you're touching it.
No, I think catchable means like anywhere here, dude.
But
Yeah,
Trevor,
it's got to be different for each guy. Like, think about Mike Evans' catchable ball versus fucking Brian Thomas.
I guess that's my question.
I watched the games. I watched the games. Trevor, like for real, like it's either catchable or he's just sailing that shit. Like it's like there's like kind of like
so it's 50-50?
No, like for real.
But that doesn't make sense mathematically. I'm kind of wondering like how they define catchable.
I think if you,
I'm not trying to be a dick.
I think honestly, like if it touches your hand or if it's in range, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, they lead the league in drops, so it's not surprising to me
Exactly.
that they're up there.
Yeah.
Like we have a lot of those dudes.
Catchable targets per game.
But also you see like he does throw passes over the middle that,
Guys are short, alligator arm, and
Yeah.
they're not going.
Yeah,
for
it's
it.
catchable.
That's catchable.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
Hospital balls are catchable. Like I don't care. There's no such thing as a hospital ball. You catch the ball.
No
you
such
get
thing
hit.
as a hospital ball.
Yeah, you catch the ball, you get hit. I feel like
Tell that to all
I
those
feel like
guys in-
receivers who drop passes or who got hit, drop passes. I think they came up with that term because who came up with the term? Not quarterbacks.
tell that to
Like right?
everybody in the AFC North
North.
from like when I was in high school.
Yeah.
But who came up with
Or
the
like when I
term
was in
though?
college.
Like who came? Not quarterbacks.
No, some guys pushing pencils came up with the term.
Like, oh yeah, my fantasy guy's not catching this ball because the quarterbacks put him in a bad spot. No,
Why'd you put the wax scent on?
Because the coach is what you call it.
Did you hear him wax scent that?
It's called
Yeah,
up the play.
it's been either yelling or waxing for the facts the last 10 minutes.
I hear what
my
you're saying, facts.
Look,
I hear what facts are saying though. Like sometimes I'm watching tape and these plays that are called like hospital balls that I'm like, where else is the quarterback supposed to go with the ball? Like is he just not supposed to throw the seam versus cover 3 because he might get hit? Like that's where you're supposed to put it.
No, but there are times where you if
me,
you
a
do-
hospital
but hold
ball
on.
is like a long.
If you go over the
you
middle of
know
the
it when
field-
you see it. Okay.
If you go over the middle of the field, you got to put those balls low. You have to. You hear quarterbacks talk about it all the time. You hear wide receivers talk about it all the time. Like you got there. Like I understand. Like where else are you supposed to throw it? Yeah, to the guy, but like down here in some situations, or away from, the safety or whoever it is. So like I'm fully on board with like, hey, professionals got to make catches, but Trevor is not one to like. Okay, I'm gonna put that on your back hip. I'm gonna throw you away from the coverage, or I'm gonna put that ball down where only you can catch it.
The Browns head up to New York, plus 2.5. The Jets are getting 2.5 points. 38.5 is the total in this one. That might be one of the uglier ones this weekend.
I
think it's gonna be a thing of beauty. This is the Who Wants It More Bowl.
I think this is a great game to look at defense or special team anytime touchdown. Either way, because Dylan Gabriel, I can't believe.
Bro, what if Dylan Gabriel just needed to find his Tommy Reese? That to me is like I'm not selling any more hope there than I am in selling hope that Shador walking in and turning this team around is going to happen. Like they're just dead in the water from an offensive standpoint. Golly, I don't know, man. Like, I think we talk more about the fact that the Jets have 5 first-round picks the next 2 years, because that kind of colors in why Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams aren't available. By the way, terrible week for Quincy Williams. If it's so bad, it's like it's not funny, but like it is fucked up. Like, what a fucked up business the NFL is. They're like, hey, you're getting benched, and we are sending your brother to Dallas, and you're staying here. That's a tough deal. I do think they will have opportunities in this game to attack. Like Sherwood's always a good bet. Like if you can get him split out or, get him on a back. I might hit some Njoku props in this game, but this is going to be a game that only the biggest sickos on the planet watch. And if you're planning on watching it, Godspeed. But listen, the Jets have 5 first-round picks the next 2 years. I'm going to make the point again. The most important guy in football is their GM, Muji. The guy's my age, and he's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole wide world in his hands. Let's not do the all sing in unison thing. That's another podcast. But I just seriously, I was like, oh fuck, we sound like McAfee. That's his corner. So, but I do think it's one of those things where it's just so interesting, man. Like, this is one of the biggest markets in sports, in the biggest sport in America, and their future comes down to like how this one guy in his scouting department does over the next couple of years for a franchise that customarily can never get it right. Now, the one thing I want to push back on that I've heard all week is like, well, it doesn't fucking matter if you have the picks if you don't have the quarterback. Isn't that so funny? Because like legitimately, one of the guys who's vying for the MVP this year is Sam Darnold. And he started his career as a Jet, and he's worked out not only one place but 2 places now. So the common denominator is the organizational structure, how you set the table for your players. They've had talented players in the building before, but it is a cultural issue that they've had, in my opinion. Culture and scheme, right? And, it doesn't help that you've played in a division with Tom Brady for a long time and Bill Belichick. Well, that all ended. And it's felt like a long.
So not to talk shit, but like when you play for the Rams and like your teams like were bad, and like you got to hear your fans like go viral and say stuff about how bad the team is. Like, what do you say to like a fan like right now to make them like kind of want to still cheer?
You don't.
Cheer for you.
You just play as hard as you possibly can. Yeah. You just play as hard as you can. Like, honestly, I didn't know any other way when I played for the Rams. Yeah. It's so interesting looking back on it because now that I cover football, like the world is so much bigger than I knew. Like there's just life is totally different. And ever since I played for the Eagles and the Pats, it's a really. For players that get drafted there, like I said, they don't know any better.
Yep. So
they just put their head down and work, and they're like, man, the NFL's fucked up. But for people that come there, like, how about the guys that show up, like Mozzie Smith or A.D. Mitchell? A.D. Mitchell might actually be a piece for them.
There was
in the
actually
future.
a clip
like
of that went viral, A.D. Mitchell, and he was doing reps in the Jet stuff. And,
I think
he looked really, really good. Like, I feel like he looked like he was there. He looked like he was going super hard. Everyone's in the media like, oh, what it would feel like to wake up with 1 win after having 7 wins, and like that's the narrative for him. And obviously, mentally, that doesn't feel good when you're on a team that has a shot at postseason and maybe Super Bowl.
Dude, but
a team that's not doing shit.
But you know how it is. Everything's about survival in the NFL. Even if you're on a good team, like you can get cut off that good team. They'll cut you in a heartbeat. So, it's all about looking out for number one. I mean, you got to be a great teammate, and the best way to look out for number one is to fucking buckle your chin strap every Sunday and try to jump off the film. And, it's going to be hard at times. Like, it is the ultimate team sport. The way that the Colts elevate Danny Dimes, or, a player that gets his second chance and goes to a better organization and suddenly he's a good player, like a position player, like that all is true. Like, it is hard to be a good player in New York, especially right now, but guys got to find a way to put good tape on film. And for Cleveland, these are 2 teams that over the next 5 years could end up being good. Like Cleveland, they've nailed the roster for a while, but they haven't nailed the quarterback. And, Jets, I think they've got other problems. But I think it speaks to what they think about Aaron Glenn. And I think Aaron Glenn is a culture guy. I mean, I know he's a culture guy. I think he's learning on the job. I also think like the votes of confidence, as sloppy as they've been from the owner, tell you that they want this guy to set the culture and they're going to be patient with him, and they should. And he's actually a good dude to have in the foxhole with you when you're 1-7, because he feels like a guy who's got a lot of energy and he keeps the main thing. He keeps the big picture in mind, which is it ain't happening today, but what we do today is important. But the GM's got the whole world in his hands, man. Get the culture right, draft some, and you could make a move for a quarterback if you wanted. Like, you could trade for a quarterback, but I just don't. There's nobody out there, like we brought up Kyler earlier, that if I'm the Jets and I just did all this, I'm not going to overspend on a guy that I kind of know.
Kurt
hasn't.
You're gonna go from
Cousins?
Justin Fields to Kyler Murray.
Cousins?
It's like fucking Spider-Man meme.
That's not It's slightly different Spider-Man meme.
Yeah,
it's
Slightly taller Spider-Man.
well, no, it's just the sum of the parts is just it's not winning football. So
Last game, we got the Saints at the Panthers, a little NFC South. The Panthers are favored in their first game this season. They are 5.5-point favorites. 40 is the total. The Panthers are just the second NFL team since 1970 to have a winning record through 9 games despite being an underdog every game this season.
Vegas does not respect my small prince, and this is beginning to be a fucking problem. All right,
I laugh every time you say that.
they are not putting respect on the prince's name, and I think more than anything, they're not putting respect on this team's name. And the team, led by Darren Bates, locker room icon, probably the vibe king over there. They run the football. They're stopping the run. Now, not every week, but I think they're doing a better job up front since Derek Brown got back. You talked about Wharton last week, played really well, and I like Aquanu, dude. I like that some of the pieces are starting to play better. Like, as the team's gotten better, like Aquanu last week, I just want to say, yes, there's some truth to Micah Parsons being schemed around through time to throw and through, just the game plan last week, was just run the fucking football. But Aquanu blocked his ass. Like, Aquanu's improved a lot as a player. It's an incomplete roster, but they got a fucking winning record. And so I think at some point you got to give this team their due. They run the football. They're physical on defense. They play coverage on the back end. They drop people into coverage and play zone. They make you earn it. And so they can muddy you up. Like, if you think you're just going to walk in and beat up on the Panthers, you got to be able to do what the Bills did. And not every team can do that. So the Saints are not one of those teams. The Saints had 15 minutes of fucking offense last week. That's insane. I don't know if I've ever heard that, Beau, of a team having 15 minutes of time possession.
That's mind-boggling. I can't
mind-boggling.
Mind around it.
Yeah,
mind-boggling.
It is mind-boggling.
It's like, when you're just sitting on the fucking bench the whole game, and you're leaving the facility, and you're just like,
did I play?
Yeah. What?
How many offensive plays were there? Does anybody
40 plays, an average of 4.4 yards per drive, the lowest time of possession by any team since 2011, the 2011 Cardinals with John Skelton.
Oh, Skelton!
Saints
I played against my sack
That
Skelton.
might have been I wonder if that was the
That's
game.
a poll.
No, it wouldn't have been our game. We that killed me. I had 13. Number 14 on John Skelton got called back because of a defensive holding. Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember what I had for dinner last night, but I remember that. Seriously, fucking shit like that. And so, anyways, I think if you're the Panthers, you show up, you run the ball down their throat if you can, and you make sure the defense is on the field another 45 minutes, because they're going to quit. I'm not saying they're going to quit from a willpower standpoint, but eventually, if you've been on the field for fucking 2 hours,
all the Panthers have to do is give the ball to Rico Dowdle for more than 20 carries, because they're undefeated when they do that. So just give him the rock. Hand him the rock.
Give him the ball. I'm surprised Chuba Hubbard didn't get moved. I guess now that just means that they're too deep in the backfield. But the Saints are down some guys, including 2 traded players, obviously. But I think Fuaga's down. So they've got some problems.
Did they trade Jawan? Or is he still?
No.
He's still there.
No.
No.
Yeah.
Dang, Jawan, you got to get out of there.
There's a lot of people who
Kamara,
who were waving at the helicopter.
Kamara's going to retire.
The helicopter didn't see
He's
him.
going to retire down there, probably, right?
Kamara he has accepted his fate. I
He said he
think.
wants to.
Yeah, I think he wants to go down.
I can't remember
with the ship.
I feel like in years past we had an award for this. Like we would shout out the guys who like should have gotten moved to the
It's like a
deadline,
saved
didn't.
award, yeah.
And
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
I mean, like 5 dudes.
now they're
on the
just in
Commanders.
hell for 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Do you? Yeah, like I'm trying to think of. Wasn't there a
The Tom
situation?
Hanks
the Castaway.
Yeah.
Wilson
I think it might
Castaway
have
Award.
been the Wilson Award or something, but
It might have been that.
it really is. That's the movie it reminds me of. Being on the New Orleans Saints or being one of these guys that like Breece Hall. Like, remember
Mario
that was
Davis.
soul crushing in that movie when they didn't see him, bro. And by the way, I love that movie.
That's a good movie.
Yeah.
It's an incredible movie. Incredible movie. Wanted to talk about the Marshawn Kneeland tragedy. Found out today that he passed away. Young player for the Dallas Cowboys, defensive lineman, scored a touchdown on Monday night. You probably remember that. But I think it speaks to a few things. And I didn't know the guy. He was at Sack Summit this summer, but I didn't know the guy. So this isn't me saying, hey, I had a personal connection to him or anything. And I really don't know much about what happened. I mean, I know what happened, but I think the important thing is this, and we say it every time something like this happens, that like you never know what somebody's going through. A lot of people think that when you think about like the prototypical success story, like people as kids say, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to play for the Dallas Cowboys. I want to score a touchdown on Monday Night Football in front of the world. And this kid was doing all those things. And it's not enough, it's not enough when you're going through something like that. And I have no idea what the cause of that feeling was that led him to take his own life. But I think it speaks to a couple things. Number one, that achieving all that doesn't ensure that you don't have struggles. And number two, I think the juxtaposition of what he did Monday night and what happened just less than 48 hours later goes to show you that you never know what somebody's going through. And on top of that, he's sharing that night, although it was in a loss, with teammates, a whole building full of people that like when I think about, I don't play football anymore, right? Obviously. Life can be pretty lonely, dude, like sometimes, like, and I got a group full of great friends. I got great buddies, high school friends that I grew up with, teammates that I played with that I could probably text, and, coworkers that are awesome. But sometimes I find myself, feeling kind of lonely. And I think that's the way life is. And I think what's incredible is that you can also feel that way in a locker room full of people that are supposed to know you really intensely, and like they're supposed to know how you're doing, and because I can tell you I never felt lonely in an NFL locker room, and I've been through things and I've had my ups and downs, and I some of them were in the league for sure. It's a stressful lifestyle. These guys are going through a lot. I know they're making a lot of money, but just to think that like that should be the place that you are most supported as a young man, in a locker room full of guys, in a building full of people who are invested in your well-being, and it slipped through the cracks. And I'm not blaming the people in that building. What I'm saying is it's really fucking hard to know sometimes what somebody's going through. And I keep hearing some people say, hey, we'll check on your friends. And I've said that before. I heard Matt Rule say because today he talked about it. We had to bury a kid, who a week ago I was kicking myself because I hadn't seen him in a while or something like that. And I didn't say, how you doing? And I wish I had said that. But honestly, I don't think it makes a difference sometimes because people aren't honest about how they're doing. And so I don't know what to say sometimes in the wake of something like that. But like, I think it's on the people closest to somebody like Marshawn Kneeland to be proactive and checking on him. But to Matt Rule's point, I would say, like, sometimes you ask somebody how they're doing, and sometimes I'm doing bad, and I'm not honest with people. So, I guess the conclusion for me is, and I'm talking this out in real time, like with you guys, because this stuff makes me feel sad. Like it does. Like, I know these guys are making a lot of money, and I don't know what led to his struggles. And I know that it looks like they're on top of the world, but, like, you know, maybe just consider that they're human beings when things aren't going well, right? And I know fans got to be tough on people, and I'm not blaming fans, but I'm saying, like, what can we control as people in the media or people that consume football? Or, like, trust me, these athletes are under a lot of stress, and it's a tough business to be in. But maybe his issues had nothing to do with football. I have no idea. You know, that breaks my heart. I don't know the kid, and, you know, never met him, but that absolutely breaks your heart. You think that's somebody's son, that's somebody's brother, that's somebody's, you know, and to think, like, somebody could feel that isolated in a locker room full of guys, in a building full of people that care about him. Scary. What do you think it means for people sitting at home who don't have that support system, man? We got to love up on each other a little better, man. This is a fucking crazy-ass world, and it's only getting crazier. R.I.P. Marshawn Kneeland. That's a super sad deal.